All right, everybody, welcome to the I Disagree podcast. You know, I can honestly say the reason why we've named it I Disagree is because it's two words I believe that have not only changed my life, but we all wouldn't be sitting here if we didn't say I disagree. So here's basically what we stand for. In the past 3 years, there has been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, assumptions, and bullshit than ever before. Here we go. You guys ready for the first one?
You're on.
Oh, I am on. Jeepers, would you look at that? Oh. Hey, everybody. Welcome to the I Disagree podcast. My name is Dr. Travis Frisk, who wishes sometimes. But anyways, Doc is still traveling. He's still fighting the good fight, living the American dream, and solving problems for us. So thank you, Doc. We miss you, and we look forward to when you get back. But until then, you're stuck with me. So if you would like to ever be part of the I Disagree podcast, if you would like to submit a statement that you would like to be heard or a topic in general, please reach out to us. We want to talk to you. We want to hear from you. idp@thewellnessway.com. That's how you reach us. IDP, I Disagree podcast, basically, at thewellnessway.com. Please reach out. You know, we've had some good people that were watching this show that kind of stumbled upon it, and they actually came on the show because of it, and it was wonderful. And I'm talking about people from the Green Bay Llamas group. We'll get back to that. But we want to hear from you. We want to hear from all of you. So make sure you like, make sure you subscribe, make sure you share. If we talk about real stuff that the world doesn't want to hear about, right? And the government definitely doesn't want us talking about. So if that's what you're looking for, you're going to find it here. Please like, subscribe, and share, because we want to get some truth out there, at least have good conversation for you to spark your mind and help you just come to a conclusion that you need that are more healthy than what you're probably currently getting. So let's start off by, I'll introduce myself here. My name is Travis Frisk. I've been with the Wellness Way for a few years now. I'm 42. I will be 43 this weekend. But I act like I'm 8. But I read at a 13-year-old level, so that's good, right? To read at a 13-year-old level, that's where my son's at, so I still got him at least tied. So I am blessed to be here, and with that being said, let's start here. Let's have this handsome man introduce himself.
Sure. So what's going on? I guess I'm one of those people that come from the llama.
Ooh, that's where you came from.
We want to hear from you guys. That's
right.
Awesome. Thank you.
So, yeah, Mark Becker. I'm born and raised here in town. I lived in Pulaski, and I was a county supervisor. I was the chairman of the Brown County Republican Party, and I've been involved in politics for way too long.
And I want to thank you for coming on, because we honestly we're good people here. We like to talk about things, and the reason why I bring up llamas is because about a month ago now, probably, there was a big blow up about our podcast, and I want people to come on. It's okay if we don't agree. Let's just have a discussion, because we're all stuck in our groups believing what we all believe, and we stick together. Let's start having conversations like we used to. So thank you for being on here, Mark. We really appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you. And I think, you'll find out with the discussion, hopefully today, that a lot of my brand has been having difficult discussions with people who I don't necessarily agree with, and finding common ground and all of that. So I think it's really, really important to do just that. So, yeah.
Mark, thank you for being here.
Yeah,
we're blessed to have you. I hope you find that we're pleasant, but we have fun at the same time a little bit.
Likewise, yeah.
That's good. So this beautiful lady here, I will let her introduce herself.
My name is Bonnie Burke. I'm one of the interns here at the Wellness Way, Green Bay, and I've been in chiropractic school for just over 3 years. I graduate in March. But I've been involved with the Wellness Way for almost as long as I've been in school. My first quarter on campus, which was during COVID, I came and watched a talk, and I fell in love with the Wellness Way, and that's why I'm here.
We're happy to have you.
Nice.
Awesome. Handsome Man Jones?
I don't know what you just said.
Me neither.
All right. I am Lorenzo Tomas from Random Radio. That is a show that is on YouTube, BitChute, Rumble. Someone told me it was on Goyam TV. I don't even know what that is. I have no idea what that even is. Anyway. So you guys can catch that there, and it is a great program. We resume making episodes starting next week.
Did you? Oh, okay.
It's February,
all
so
right.
I'm coming with tons of the goodies, the good black history, just black stories in general.
Big juicy things.
Oh man, I got some good stuff. I got some
Okay.
good stuff. Got some good stuff. We're gonna talk about a lot of stuff. So we'll be back, and I appreciate you all allowing me to come on and guest host for the last couple of weeks. And I don't know anything about the Llamas group, but
It's cool.
welcome.
Hey, just because you follow the Llamas group doesn't mean that you're a bad person. It just means we found some dirt in there. And I follow it. So does that make me dirty? No, it just means let's find some people that want to talk. And that's what this is about. So thank you.
The group was started as like a joke with the former mayor, how he would like traipse a llama across the bridge on New Year's Day, and it was kind of like an inside joke. But they talk about local politics.
Yeah.
Okay.
And it has people from all sorts of parts of the community. So it's super eclectic, and they have some really, really insightful discussions. So it's a neat group, and there's a lot of good people there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Obviously. Happy to have you. That's
Oh,
awesome.
well, yeah, no, it wasn't for myself, but I mean, it's a cool.
I know what you meant,
So
but
that means they're watching. The crew is watching tonight. Your crew
I have
is
no
watching.
idea. They don't even know that that I'm here. So
Shut up. You need to start watching. Support your homie. You know what I'm saying? What kind of shit is this? You know?
we give you permission to message on Llamas.
all right, sweet.
Yeah, tell them all.
Tell the
Yeah.
llamas to get on
Just
it.
go live in
Get
the
on it.
Facebook group right now. Set up your phone and
Right.
There you go.
Tell them to
There
get
you
on it. Tell them to
Please.
support the homie.
see
You
what
should
it-
just
I'll
send
see
that
what it
hashtag support the homie, and that's it. Done.
It's Black
They should
History
already
Month in
know.
a week.
Is
You know
there
what I
a
mean? We
live
got
Well,
it.
it's not Black History
Link or
Month
something?
yet, so they don't have to
For
support
this?
this homie.
Yeah.
They just got to support that homie.
yeah, there is. Actually, I will send it to you. Hold on here.
All right, sweet.
The funny thing is that you know what?
Link.
There might be a different person hosting in February a couple times,
Oh, there you
but
go.
more to come on that. To
Nice.
just to embrace the Black history. That's the total
Oh, that's
reason
cool.
behind it.
There you go. All right,
There you go.
I sent it in Messenger. There,
All
you
right,
got
sweet.
it.
All right,
You got,
Dana.
it's even got a picture of us live. Yeah, no, I'll go. I'll introduce myself.
Last but not least.
My name is Dana. I'm 35. I'm married with 2 kids. I went to school for accounting. I actually used to work on tax. I did that for 10 years and then decided that wasn't for me anymore. And I switched over to clinical nutrition, just given my passion for holistic health. And now I obviously also help co-host this podcast every week. And I make like dating, relationship, support the patriarchy type content that can be found on Dana Disagrees on TikTok, YouTube, and Instagram. So if you're not following that, make sure you are, because I have a lot more reels coming out now.
Outstanding. And whenever I host, I like to leave Dana be last. And here's why. It's not because she's last. It's because Dana was a big reason why we have this podcast. So a few years ago, Doc went to VaxCon, and there was a lot of ladies there, but not a lot of men. And Dana had the courage during the question and answer time, I'm guessing, to call out, where are all the dudes? And that's how her and Doc got connected. And from there, you know what? Doc took his ADP on Saturday mornings, and he wanted to expand it. And he took the idea that those two had, and he made the IDP. So thank you, Doc, for giving us a platform. Thank you for giving Dana a platform. And we look forward to just capitalizing on this and just keep talking about things that matter. Speaking of things that matter, let's talk about the reason why we're here. In the past 3 years, there have been more disagreements, controversies, opinions, ideas, failed expectations, character reveals, surprises, disappointments, lies, beliefs, and assumptions are more assumptions than ever before. And the reason why we talk about we bring this up is because that is exactly what's happening in society. So we need to talk about it. With that being said, we do this thing called I Disagree. The first round, we're going to give a statement, okay? And you're just going to say I agree or I disagree, and that's it. And then we're going to go to the next person, and then we'll come back to you to explain why you agree or why you disagree. And for some reason, in the past 3 years line, I forgot the bullshit than ever before.
Yeah, you forgot
so
the last time
I don't know
too.
what happened, but I apologize. So yes, that was the other part. I don't know why I did that. That might have been the one I copied from
That's
YouTube.
the one word I contributed to that statement.
Well, it's the one word
so
I
it's
agree with,
like,
because it
yeah.
really is. It
I'm
all,
just saying,
it all
that was the
kinda
one word I gave
compiles
to it.
into that, right? So the one thing when you're giving your I agree or your I disagree, we can't base a society on exceptions. So what I'm getting at is this. When I ask you or say a statement, I want you to agree or disagree based on the rule, not the exception. Let me give the very popular example. Okay, abortion. Okay, not a popular topic, but my point is it's a big topic. The rule is that people are using it for birth control. Okay, the exception is the mother's health, the incest, the rape. We understand that, but that is like 1% or less, depending on the stats you're looking at. I've done plenty of research on that to know that it's a very small. That's the exception. Is it a problem? Yes, but we can't base everything on the exception, can we? Because there's a 99% of it that is the rule that we have to abide by as well. So, all that to be said, does that make sense? Okay. All right. So, we are going to get right into it. The first statement of tonight is, now, you're going to have to read between the lines because we discussed this recently, and it was taken off of the tube. All right? So, read between the lines. The alphabet soup community has more privilege than straight white males. The alphabet soup community has more privilege than the white males. The community with many letters and a plus sign has more privilege than straight white males. Agree?
Is this Campbell Soup?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Campbell Soup Company?
With 1,000 ingredients? Yeah, that company.
1,000 ingredients. That's good.
That's ridiculous.
I know. Who would have thought we'd be talking about soup? All right, Mark, not to pick on you, but you know what? I always start with the guy on the left first, and the next time I'm going to start with the lady. So you get the first statement.
I disagree.
Disagree? Okay.
I agree.
Okay.
The alphabet soup community is more. I agree.
Okay.
I agree.
Okay. Mr. Mark.
I'm gonna defer. I want to see how this plays out because I'm the only one.
You know what?
That's why you should go first.
No.
All right.
How about this?
I'm gonna-
I'll do. Here, usually the hosts go last, but I'll have Bonnie go first.
right, cool.
And then
I'll
I'll-
go-
fair
yeah,
enough.
that's fine.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have to go first.
Ladies first. Come on. I'm old school.
Get it.
To be honest, I'm not super educated in these types of topics. The only reason I agree is because my mother absolutely agrees, and I had a conversation with her about this before I came here, and it was just an interesting topic for her, and I don't have a lot of reason why I agree or disagree, but that's my.
And if I may, Bonnie, so as we talk and as Mark gives his and Lorenzo and Dana, you know what's going to happen? There's going to be thoughts that are provoked, and then you can add into the discussion then. So don't worry about if you don't have it, put it together. Don't feel like you can't talk. Just because
Okay.
people say something, and if it sparks the thought, bring it up.
Yeah, or a question or something like
Yeah.
that. People do it all the
Yeah,
time.
no worries. Mark.
All right. So when I was the chairman of the Republican Party, I was the only official in the state of Wisconsin that came out in support of marriage equality. And when I was leading the party, it was during the time where it was like, you know, the Windsor verdict and Obergefell and all those landmark decisions that are coming down about, you know, marriage equality, striking down DOMA, all that kind of stuff. So I've had this discussion with hundreds of times with probably thousands of people across the state of Wisconsin. So my older brother is gay. I have a very unique perspective on this issue, and I know a lot about it. In no fucking way, shape, or form does a white dude have more privilege or rights than someone who is gay. And anytime I have these discussions, I always want to start at like a baseline. It's something. So everybody, y'all disagree with me, but I want to find something and somewhere where we do agree. And then we can kind of go from there, right? So there was always two things. You covered one of them, that we're not going to talk about the outliers. Because
We could eventually get to the exceptions. Like that's kind of like we start
We
in the middle, we
can,
kind of work
yeah.
our way to the end.
But, you know, I that's a tightrope that you don't necessarily want to walk because everything that you know, any constructive discussion can be pretty quickly shit can. But the statement that I kind of wanted to center around is this. Gay people in this country deserve equality. Right? Can we all agree on that?
Well, they're American. As
People
long as they're
are-
a legal
pe-
American.
People are equal in dignity.
They deserve equal rights.
What is
not more rights, certainly not less,
Oh.
but they deserve
equal rights, equal opportunity,
Okay.
right?
That's-
We all agree?
Yes.
So I'm going to put a pin in that because I'll come back to that a lot. And so often when I have these discussions with people, rights are confused with protections of rights. You know? Like, if I wanted to marry my wife, I was born straight, white, and in America. Man, I hit a home run. I won the lottery. My rights have never been in question in the history of fucking ever. So if I wanted to marry my wife, I could do that. Well, my wife is a black woman, so I mean up until 1967 that was a felony in some states. So whatever. But when Loving versus Virginia was decided, that gave that right to interracial couples, right? And it wasn't a right that we gained. It was a protection for that right. And so you look at some of the landmark court cases that have happened in the last, I mean, it was 2 presidents ago that some of these court cases came down the pike and didn't give anybody new rights necessarily, but just a protection to the rights that we all have. So to say, okay, well, a gay person has extra set of rights it's preposterous. Because there's still places where if my brother would marry his partner, he could go back to work on Monday and be fired. And it's okay. Right? You can't necessarily do that with us. And so, like, to say that they have more rights, it's just, like, overtly not true.
Okay. Remember the words privilege, though, not rights.
Right.
Okay.
Just to be clear.
What you said was
Right.
cool. I mean,
Yeah.
good details. I just don't. Yeah, it was. We got to talk about the privilege part. I think that is, and you're not the first person to have a thought and just one word is mixed up. I mean, how many times we had statements where one word can change the entire duration of where the statement's going, you know? So,
And I mean, I think the point still remains.
Yeah.
I mean,
it does.
Gay people don't have more privilege than than a straight white dude in this society. I don't. I mean, that still is valid.
Good.
wait, no, you already said yours. Yours,
You
Larry.
messed up your order.
Lorenzo, Tomas.
Okay. Well, I said the statement was that.
I can read it again if you
You
like.
say it again.
The little community has more privilege than straight white males.
Yeah, they got more privilege than black people too. And I'm gonna lay it out for you. So everything that you just said, man, you filibuster. You're a politician. I was a politician in Illinois. So you filibuster great, because you said nothing. What you said is a bunch of stuff about rights, and that's great and fantastic that you talked about rights. No one had said anything about rights, and the key thing here is privilege. And so when we talk about the homosexual community, just like white men, just like white women, just like black people in general, have a bunch of set of privileges. Whether they have more or less doesn't matter because it's privilege. For instance, I could say right now, everything you said is disrespectful to me and you are a racist. Because not only did you not look into the issues between the BIPOC community, but you made it all about white people. You ain't mentioned us once. Now, I could be that sensitive and say you're racist. Now, trust me. I don't think you're. Trust me. I'm not saying that.
My wife's black.
I don't think. I'm just saying.
Wait, what?
I'm just making a point. I don't think you were racist at all. Just make sure we're clear. He's not racist. I do not think he's a racist. But what I'm saying is that I can say that, and to the table, that would have to be valid. Because at the time that we live in, right? Because of the whole George Floyd thing, you have to be extra sensitive to my black privilege, which is that I can assume racism whenever I want because you're white. Is what can happen. The same thing can happen with a homosexual. They could come in this room right now. I can say something about homosexuals. We could say that the alphabet community, we could say the Campbell soup community, that could offend a homosexual. That conversation is going to need to stop, right? That's a privilege. That's not a right. The rights that they have, they've always had. The only thing that they've gotten is the privilege to get married and encroach on the Catholic Church and the church's rules about marriage. That's all they got the privilege to do, is encroach on the Catholic Church. And I'm not a Catholic. I'm just saying, that's what happened, though.
How do they encroach on the Catholic Church?
Marriage is an institution that has always been between a man and a woman and has been done in a church in America. In America. We're talking about America. We're not talking about outside of this place. I saw where you was going. We're here in America.
Where was I going?
You're going somewhere. You wasn't staying here. So, but we're talking about America. So in America, that's been the institution. Well, it's a mosque. It's a temple. It's an institution. You got to have a reverend there, right? You got to have somebody of clergy there to make this official. Well, to make the ceremony official. Because the whole institution is official when you go down to the courthouse and you sign the paperwork with the government. Right? So to make the ceremony official, that's what needs to happen. And is that what the gay people wanted? Or did they just want to be like everyone else and just be married? And
Do
just go,
Do you want an answer?
Sure, yeah.
The gay people don't give a shit about religion.
No, I know that. That's obvious to me. That's what I'm saying. They encroached on the religion. Because why was it necessary to get married? Just do civil unions. What's this big deal?
Are you serious?
I'm asking you. Yeah.
So the idea of marriage. First off, I mean, if we're talking about America, marriage was never a union of any religious importance whatsoever when it started. It was all.
I didn't say when it started. I said America.
Well, but that has.
I need you to stick to America.
No, I appreciate that, but I'm not going to
leave America. I told you. No,
but then why? If we're sticking to.
Because we're talking about the rights here in America. I'm not talking about the rights of marriage in Egypt. I don't want to hear about the rights of marriage in Europe. We're talking about America. We can start at 1787 if you need a starting point. Okay? We can start right there when America, United States of America started. We ain't got to go to the Articles of Confederation. We ain't got to do none of that. Let's just start right there. You're going to tell me that the marriage institution here in America, the common version of marriage, let's stick with that. Let me be more specific. The common institution of marriage from 1787 until Barack Obama became president for his second term has never been about religion. It was just what then?
All right, so I'm gonna be able to talk, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So, if you want to have that discussion, it is disingenuous to have that about just America. So I'm not going to do that. Like, respectfully, I'm not going to do that because my marriage was not in a church. I grew up in a church, man. I spent more time in a church from age 1 to age 20. I taught Sunday school. I mean, I know this stuff pretty good. My marriage isn't any less valid than my parents who were married in a church. Okay? Because what my marriage is about the fact that my wife is fucking cool. Right? Mm-hmm. And I don't need Jesus to tell me that.
Did you have a reverend
bless your marriage? Hold on. No.
So
Why would I?
I'm just asking.
So marriage was around 2,000 years before it was hijacked by religion. It had nothing to do with God or the Quran or whatever. It was all about how to separate property and chattel and all of that stuff. So if we're going to have a discussion on marriage, it doesn't get to be a discussion on marriage in America. It is discussion about what is marriage. Because when you look at what people who want to be able to say I'm married are after, it's not a fair argument. It's not a valid argument to say, well, in America, that's what. I don't fucking care. What marriage is, what it has been, was not always a religious institution. Now, I totally agree. I understand that religion, like it does so many things, hijacked it. I was a Catholic, man. I know about the Catholics hijacking shit. But you can't have that discussion and just frame it around, well, this is what it was in America.
Okay, so this isn't about marriage. That was an example. Well, let's put a pin in that. We'll come back to that because I would like to know where you would like to frame that argument I'm going to let you build the house. We'll get back to that. But this is about the privilege portion that the intellectual society has over the supposedly more than the white man. Well, they have the same. I would say they have the same amount of privilege. This is part of the reason why it was hard for me to agree or disagree with this, because in my opinion, I don't think that there is a level of privilege that white men have more than anyone today. I don't think that they have more privilege than me. I don't think they have more privilege than her. I believe that as a woman, she probably has more privilege. These two have more privilege than all of us. All of us. And as they get more attractive, the more privilege that they will be able to obtain. So, I believe that's just how it is. I mean, a larger, more corpulent woman is not going to have the same privilege as the three women in the room. So, it is the same for now is trying to make the same argument for those who are larger. We're trying to make the same argument for those who are Transformers, who are Decepticons. So we are trying to make the same argument for everyone. Everyone is getting this argument of they can have privilege. That's why it was a little bit complicated for me to say I agree or disagree.
I just got to clarify. The Transformers is another way of saying something that we can't say on YouTube. Transform. Yeah, got it.
Well, because they are Decepticons.
We hear all the time. We talk about it. But like, I know you guys are new to the
So everyone has a privilege. And as of today, I believe that the white man, this so-called privilege that the white man has had, I believe that he's losing those privileges. And if anyone is going to probably lose their rights in the years to come, it probably will be the white man. Because at this moment in time, we are okay with taking away white man's privileges and taking away rights if they are in the name of white people. So I believe that, yes, everybody's privilege is pretty much on the same plane. But yes, I do think that the alphabet community probably does exhibit a little bit more privilege than the rest of us, most of us, honestly, including the African American community.
Okay. It's good. Yeah. Thank you. Good talk. I love that. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
I don't want to be here.
I'm like,
I don't want to be here talking about.
Thank you.
Hey, how?
Somebody came to talk.
Yes, I don't want to be here going. Hey, the weather was pretty good this week. Do you agree? You know, I want it to be real.
I
and it's okay.
got to sit back in my chair.
This was great. Thank you. Awesome.
It was great.
Dana, you are next.
Awesome. Yeah. No, I agreed with it. So I didn't write notes. I'm just going to talk. So, yeah, I mean, I do think, okay, kind of I'm not really piggybacking off of your point, but you kind of said something that I want to like expand on a little bit. Because one of the first things that I want to do when I like talk about this community is first of all, like point out, okay, where's the problem in it and where is not the problem in it? Because the like problem in culture does not lie with like regular gay people who just like wanted to be able to get married and they're not making big fusses. To me, the problem in culture lies with the people who are touching kids, the people who are shoving propaganda down throats, and the people who are making everybody pretend that they're something that they're not. That's where the problem actually lies. And because all of that's getting shoved down our throats so incredibly hard, now there is a growing group of people who are telling those people to fuck off, right? And so I want to like kind of point that out because we can talk about that community, but not like everybody who gets lumped in that community is really like an issue of what's going on in culture. And I just want to be able to like kind of point that out, if that makes sense. I think that community has also just had a lot of activism in the last several years. And I get the activism for wanting, you know, the marriage thing. But now it's like, okay, you know, that happened. The activism has changed from, you know, rights to more of like the privilege. And privilege, right, when you look at that word, it's like a special advantage that you get that not everybody else gets. And when I look at kind of just through culture and, you know, what's happening and what people are talking about, I'm like, all right, well, it is a privilege for a drag queen to be able to shake their penis in front of kids and have it be called inclusion. That is privilege. And I think it's a privilege that companies are openly looking to hire and promote, you know, gay or trans or women or black or, you know, whatever it is. That's privilege. It's crazy because, yeah, let's make it all about diversity and not about who can do the best job, but, you know, whatever. And so I think that that's, like the straight white male doesn't get those kinds of privileges. Straight people don't get those kinds of privileges. White people don't actually even get to be proud of who they are. Really only like that community, or people of color for that matter, get to be proud of who they are, which I also think is kind of like crazy, because I don't know why anybody gets proud of who they have sex with or the color of their skin. That doesn't really like make sense to me. You didn't earn any of those things. They're just inherent to you and you were born with them. It's like me saying I'm proud to have blue eyes. I mean, I think they're great and all, but I'm not proud to have blue eyes. And I think the same thing about being white. I don't mind being white. I get like a really nice tan in the summer, and that's cool. I got this nice like glow going on. It's really pretty. And now like we're in winter and I don't know, that glow is gone, and now I'm really definitely white, and that makes me like a little bit sad, but like I don't really care. It's not something to be proud of or ashamed of. And so I think that also just we need to get away from that, and that really shouldn't be part of our like identity and how we identify. The things that are in our identity should be things that we have like worked for and earned and have a reason to be proud of. And I think that this community does have it pretty good in culture, and probably so good that we're getting to a point of, okay, you're making up some of your own oppression. Again, I'm talking about the people that I named before who are a problem in the community, not like just regular people going about their lives. But we're getting to a point where it's like, man, you have to like, you have it so good, you got to make up your own oppression. It just seems like. And it's like, okay, wait, gay people in Saudi Arabia get like thrown off buildings and killed. Like, I think you have it like pretty good here. And it just seems like there are a lot of people who are just trying to victim their way into getting some attention for whatever reason. And so that's just kind of what I think about that whole thing. But I think the important piece is also recognizing who the problem lies with in culture, because it's not everybody who gets lumped into that group.
Good. Thank you. That was good for not taking notes. That was pretty impressive. So that leaves me to me. I agreed with the statement, and I made it a little more practical, a little more simplified. It's but before I get into that, I don't know if you guys know, but I do work out. I love lifting weights. It's my thing. And, over the years, I've been able to have success in that. And there's just one spot in my body I can't get defined, and it's so frustrating. And, it's my calves. So I called a doctor, a plastic surgeon guy, and I asked if I could get.
My bad.
Done it before. It's all right. But I asked for a calf implant, and guess how much it cost? Thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars, right? So.
You were gonna get cat.
But you think,
People do that.
Yeah.
People do that.
Yeah.
And ab implants too. They do that too.
After I saw what the quote was, when I saw the quote, that was hard. So I got depressed and emotional, and I thought maybe I'm just a woman. So I go to the doctor and I ask, hey, can you make me a woman? Can you give me the old snip-snipperoo?
Oh my God.
Right? And give me the hormone package, everything. And guess what the quote was? Nothing. Government got it for me. Government covered for me with the LGBT, to turn me over to be a woman. So my answer is pretty simple when it comes to this. They have privilege. I can't do practical things, the calf was not practical. That was just me making a funny thing. But, let's say someone's got kidney stones. I'm paying out of pocket. They're getting this done for free. Oh, no, that's not true. On your backs. And that to me is very not fair. That's very off. That does not seem equal to me, right? That seems like there's a privilege that's leaning towards the other side of the fence when it comes to those things. So that is now does that community probably have an uphill battle from a sociological standpoint? I don't know if I said it right that time. No, they probably have an uphill battle because they're not understood. But I'm telling you right now, they are embraced and protected much more than we are. Therefore, when you're protected, you have to weigh that in when it comes to privilege. And there is many, many things in the dictionary that I said in my young age that I can't say anymore. But they sure as hell can. Hey, let me ask you a question. Can an African American call another African American a certain word?
Cracker.
Yeah. You know,
Can we call each other crackers?
it's kind of the same. It's kind of the same concept. You know, if I would call him a cracker, he'd whip me, right? He'd be mad. He'd fisticuffs, right? So my point is this: there is privileges. It's just take the emotion out. It's just numbers. There is privilege to do it. It's because they're pushing an agenda to make people this way for whatever reason, and we can talk about that. That's going into a rabbit hole, right? But for whatever reason, they're protecting. They're supporting these people, and guess what? That is to me, when you live like that, there's something wrong up here. It's my personal opinion. It could be trauma in your past, you haven't dealt with whatever, dad issues. That stuff has a lot to play into it. But so does everybody else. What about all the people, I just watched the video in Philadelphia where people are dying from this trank that's out there where they're putting open storage needles and they're mixing horse tranquilizers with not oxycodone, what's the other one? Fentanyl.
Oh.
And it has a high that is very similar to, not morphine, heroin, but it's way cheaper. It's like pennies on the dollar. So people are dying on this and stuff like that. And my point is, I look at that community as just having a disturbance in their life in a different way than the drug dealer or someone with a huge porn addiction or alcoholism. I chalk it up to that. But so I understand trying to help people, but when we're not helping people, we're supporting their problem by giving them the snip or the so or the grow. Whatever they do. I don't know. My point is there is obviously a very, very, very big difference when it comes to what's accepted by the government, what's not. White men have not been, especially if you're a Christian. If you serve Jesus, double whammy, not good, right? But I will stop rambling and I'll let you guys kind of fill in on that. Go ahead.
I'm going to jump on a couple things.
Go, yeah.
There has never been a president of the United States that said, I am not a Christian. So, like Christianity and people who are religious, there's a little bit of an awakening in this country that says you don't have to be that way and be a follower of Jesus. But I don't think that you would get in trouble or get looked down on for being a follower of Christ. That's one thing. But then you said that gay people, there's something wrong up here.
Correct.
What a strange thing to say out loud, right?
Most of what we talk on here is pretty strange.
Yeah. But that is exactly why people of that community need protections and need, I don't know if you call it privileges. I don't see it that way. That's exactly why that's there. Mm-hmm. Because there is a huge segment of this country that says, hey, that guy, he's got something fucked up in his head. He likes dudes. And people believe that. And so we talk about, why do they have to have pride? Well, there's a Black History Month. There's holidays for Hispanics, and so there's so much out there, and the gay people have pride alive because for decades, for hundreds of years, they've had to be in the shadows, mm-hmm. right? And so now they get a day to say, "Holy shit, I am a human, and I can exist."
But the problem, you're not wrong with what you're saying, but my concern is that we're giving them a whole month, right? Where's my month? There's privilege. It comes back to the
Black people get a month, or are we talking about?
You get February, and then
that's cool with me.
That's fine.
Well, my wife and I have
two
children. One looks just like me, and one looks just like her, and I recognize that just because of how they look, my daughter will have different views placed on her than my son.
That's terrible.
It sucks.
That's terrible that you think that way.
But
don't you tell your children that though?
Oh, I don't tell them. But that's the thing is for as just like this discussion here. My brother, who is a gay man, who is way more educated than a lot of people. He's got his master's, advancement. He's not a dumb person. Mm. His life and his trajectory and the things that he has done has been so much more difficult than mine, simply because there are people out there that think there's something wrong with him for being who he is. Like that's what this is about. And I mean, rights, privileges, whatever you want to call it, the fact that he has been a second-class citizen for hundreds of years, not just in this country, but countries all over the world, that is why we have this question. And that is why so many people are disagreeing. And we are going into a little bit of a great awakening in this society. And I understand, for those who live their life and are accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression, right? And so now we see, oh my God, well, there's a drag show and there's people that are celebrating being gay. Don't fucking take your kids there. If you have a problem with that, don't take your kids.
You're right, but here's the problem. It's all over our TV. It's all over our society. They're shoving it down our throats. In the 1990s, may I ask how old you are again? I missed it in the beginning.
37.
So we're 5 years off.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm 42. And, in the 1990s and even 80s maybe a little bit, they were saying, just accept us. And now let's fast forward to the 2020s, right? Or even before that, let's just be honest, well before that. Now they're pushing it down our throats.
How? Because I hear that so much about how this is being pushed down our throats, this is being pushed. How?
Everywhere.
Well,
You could look at commercials from the 1990s. Look at commercials now. It's drugs, and it's somebody with LGBTQ. Sorry, they keep changing letters.
No, that's fine. Yeah.
And let me just be honest before we get back into that. I don't hate people that have that. I just don't agree with it, and I believe in the ones that I've had a lot of encounters with will openly admit they've had a lot of traumas. The problem is we're trying to embrace something that hasn't been addressed in their life, and we're causing everyone to pay for it. What we should be doing is treating them like an American, no extra privilege. Let's work on what happened on the back end, and if they still choose not to, that's on them. But it shouldn't be taxpayer dollars. It shouldn't be treating them differently and protecting them. You know what? There's bullying going on all over the place. Why are they immune but nobody else? What about black people? He just said before, that black people feel less protected or privileged than that community. So my point is, if that's happened over the last 20, 25 years, we'll say, what's next? Where does it end? And at some point in time, you and I are going to be the scum of the earth if we're not already. So we have to make sure, is it okay that I'm straight? Why is it okay for them to shout? But when I say it, people say, shut up. It's because they think I'm privileged. No, I just work hard. I don't have that same issue that they have. I have other issues, right? So I think we need to define what homosexuality actually is. I think we need to go down that rabbit trail for a minute. What do you guys think? What do you guys think? What causes it?
Hold on.
He has things to say.
So before I get into that.
I have things to say.
Hold on. Before we get there. So there's a lot of things that were just said. Hold on. All right. So first of all,
there's brewing.
So I'm gonna have to. I need to agree and disagree with both of you on some things. All right. First of all, I heard your statements. A statement that I do not agree with you on is the idea that you can compare homosexuals to blacks or Mexicans. That's a race. This is a sexuality. I understand that you can be born black, you can be born Hispanic, you can be born homosexual. That's fine. Maybe that's your so-called sexuality. However, this is a race. This is not the same. This whole section over here has nothing to do. People look at you. You speak. They know what you are. I don't know a gay man until a gay man tells me he's gay. I can't see a gay man and smell gay or sense gay or look at him down the street and be like a gay man right now. I don't know. Look at that hair.
Remember Dwight Schrute?
He got gay hair. Look at that gay hair he got. I don't know, man. Look at that hair.
Not sure about all those rainbows.
So that's what I'm saying. I'm just saying. And the comparison, I understand that the advocates for the LGBTQ community, and let me state this as well. I have nothing against, right, the alphabet community, right? I am 100% of the belief that you do not put your hands on them for just because of what they do. You do not discourage them from getting employment because of who they are. That's none of your business. But what I also do take an issue with this, and this is another privilege. I don't get to go out in the street and announce that I'm heterosexual or have a flag for my sexuality or need to exhibit any kind of pride for my sexuality. This has to be accepted in society. And I know I have a lot of friends who are of this community who are like, I don't even agree with that. I'm not with all the parading me around and the companies using me as a tool for them to sell stuff. This is my life. And I get that too, because to me, I do see that. This isn't them. Give you a good example. In Chicago, now I'm gonna take it to Negroes for a moment. In Chicago, Black Lives Matter spent that whole summer tearing up that city. But in the town of Inglewood, where crime is the most prevalent, those African Americans said, get the hell out of here. We do not want you. That was never broadcasted. It was never shown how a lot of those African Americans was like, hey, we don't want this. We want our police. Get out of here. You're not going to be here at 8 o'clock when the guns start busting. You're going back to the suburbs. I think that's the same situation with a lot of this community. They don't want to be represented by drag shows. That's not their life. Even some of these drag queens, some of them are like, hey, we shouldn't be in the schools now. Now, doing our shows is one thing, but in the school, that's a little bit like, come on, that's outrageous.
Yeah, like
an outlier,
reading the
though.
books to kids.
You're right. And that is an outlier. It's not happening everywhere. That gets broadcasted. It's getting broadcasted more and more.
Yeah.
Like it's just like when the and this is gonna have to go back to Republicans and some of the stuff that they do sometimes with that the kitty litter in the high school classroom.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
Never was true, right? Total lie, just made up story. Republicans running with it, and they do that, and that brings all this highlight and says, "Oh, look at what the Transformer community is doing. Look at what they're doing. Being typical Decepticons, robots in disguise. Look at them." And so this. It looks like that's what's happening. Hold on. Something wrong in the head. All right, now wait, no. Now look. Now there are people who are of that community who, yes, they have some trauma. They have some things that are things that have happened to them that may be wrong. But not everybody, and I'm gonna say the majority of them. I don't think the majority of that group, especially today, is under that is because of that. Now, I will say this. I do think that Generation Z is under a media overhaul that is trying to make them believe that they are this. I'm gonna give you a good example of when they did this too. Did this to the African American community in 1990. Gonna show us all them damn fake gangsters. Got us thinking these millionaires with good credit and great.
You do that well, man.
I came from Harvard and studied at Cambridge. And so here these guys are doing all this, and we thinking that they gangsters. These guys, nobody's a gangster. They still doing it today. So they it's not. I don't think it's a homosexual thing. Once again, I don't think the homosexual community is interested at all in any of that is being broadcasted or highlighted. I don't think they are with any of that. I think there are real, and I hate that I have to keep saying this, I think there are real Transformers who are like, yo, I'm not with Dylan Mulvaney. My life is not a mockery. This guy is making fun of my life, and I don't appreciate that. And so there's something wrong in the head. I can't get with that, man. Alexander the Great, wasn't nothing wrong in his head. That man was very much so down with the boys. He liked the boys.
Yeah, but they don't also display everything that they have in their head.
That's true. And I'm with you on that. You don't need to know. 'Cause I'm not walking around and I don't get to tell people, hey, how you feeling? Oh, by the way, I need to come out to you as hetero. Just I need to tell you. But I feel you. And I also feel that some of those. So I don't like anecdotal stories, but I'll tell one. When I was rapping, I had a DJ. Shout out to Gian. I don't even know if he still do music.
Shout out.
Gian and we had been DJing. He had been DJing my shows for a minute, kicking it, having good times, eating White Castles, all this. This is my man. One day he come up to my job. He got a rainbow belt on. I said, Gian, You down with the team? He say, man, I'm down. I got a husband. I said, shut up, Gian. You ain't got no husband. All them chicks be on you. He was like, you ain't never seen me leave with no chicks? I said, you know what? You bring up a good point, Gian. That's a good point.
Women do like the gay
So
guy.
I go meet Gian's husband. Gian's husband like, oh, man. He called me about my rap. Man, oh, man, I ain't heard all your music. We bump your stuff. I'm like, wait, hold on, bro. You know me like that? Gian, why didn't you tell me? He said, look, I don't put my stuff on display because it's none of your business. It's nobody's business. I'm like, you know what? I feel that. We had a whole conversation. Gian he made me, I had the same feelings, right? Gian made me realize there's a whole group of this, the large majority of this group does not agree with the public display that is being put on. Like my man said, I don't go to pride parades, they bring kids there. That's not for children. Children need to make that decision when they get older. They don't need to be there. They don't need to see that. That's not
Amen.
So and I was with you. I'm like, I'm with you. I feel you on that. That does make sense to me. I said, I feel the same way about religion. You shouldn't be taking no kid to church. He don't understand what he's listening to. Let him make that decision when he get older. If he want to turn of age where he understands these stories in the Bible and he wants to understand, as I wrote down, the homosexuality in the Bible between many, many, many of them people in the Old Testament. Just so you know, it's in your book many times. Many times.
Many.
David and Jonathan.
It's not in there many times.
Oh, it's in there many times.
It's not in there many
times. We need to go and take it.
It's not.
Let's just agree it's in there, and then we can.
It's in there.
Yeah, I know it's in there. There's
It's in there,
immorality.
but
Yeah.
no, it's not. It's not a lot.
Well,
It's not a lot.
It's in there. Very,
It's in there.
very
All
much
right.
so. Very much.
I do want to touch on that, but yeah.
And so, anyway, the bottom line. So, I think also we are, when we talk about this privilege thing, right? I think there's a lot of blindness that you either are trying to be blind to, or you're acting like you're oblivious, or maybe you don't know. Maybe you really are ignorant and you don't, and I don't mean ignorant in a rude way. That's not what I'm saying. I mean it in the actual definition, you don't know. And maybe you don't know. But there are very much examples of a privilege that is happening with that community that is not happening with any other community. I mean, when you are in, and we can leave America for a moment, when you are in Canada and you are a pastor and you are on the street saying to people, I love you, I love you, Jesus loves you, I love you, and because you are a Christian, you are arrested for public disturbance. However,
That's wrong.
If you are of that community in Toronto, and you want to go out there and you want to twirl in the tiniest little bikini you got, but you got that flag on, this is okay. Now I get in Canada, they don't have absolute freedom of speech. The laws can sometimes go by the seat of the person who's in charge. And so things can change a little bit, like the changes in parliament, things can happen a little bit different than they would here. We move at a snail's pace with our government with a lot of things. However, I do think that is an example of a privilege that is being seen. And in America, in an area like up here, I get how it seems like there is no privilege. I get how it can sound like that. But from Chicago, in an area like Chicago, man, there's 2 areas dedicated to just that group. Just them. How you get a whole community? It's not even that many of that group in America. How you get a whole community in a city of 1 million people? You got 2 now? How? And I'm not saying that they don't deserve a community. That's not what I'm saying. They want to have a community to themselves, and they have. Boys Town has been great. Now the violence is up there not because of them. They are affected by this violence. It's another group that's causing the violence, and it's unfortunate that we all look alike. But they're up there being foolish, and they are now assaulting them. And so that privilege that they once had that was once a privilege also. We didn't touch them. Nobody touches them. That was a privilege. But let you be on the west side, robbing you. You got money. I know you got money. You white, boy. You got money. That ain't no privilege for you. It's not a privilege. These are not privileges. Another thing with the white man and his privileges. I don't know of any privileges that a white man has had that he couldn't get if he was gay and white. He can still be gay and white and get those privileges. He doesn't have to tell anyone he's gay. Do you not understand what the problem? Do you not see the problem here? He's choosing to not have those privileges because he wants to tell you something that he knows is going to take away his privilege. And many didn't. They just got the privilege because they knew. They knew. So I don't know what a privilege is that a gay white man can't have, that a straight white man has. He doesn't have to tell anybody. He doesn't have to disclose his sexuality to anyone. Nobody's asking him that. And if they are, he can say it's none of their business.
But isn't that the whole point of this discussion?
Is what?
That the second that white dude says he's gay, those privileges go away?
I don't think so. I don't think any privileges go away. I think that's depending on the people who are in the room and what opportunities they have to take away from that person.
Yeah, but as a white person, I don't give a fuck who's in the room. As a gay person, you have to.
I think you do give a fuck. If you was in a room right now with 6 big fucking black dudes who was talking thug shit, you are very concerned about who you are in the room with.
Oh man, no, you don't know me that well. No,
you're a tough guy.
I can get along with them. Not that I'm.
What if they don't want to get along with you?
Well, then that's fine.
Oh.
That's fine.
So anyway, wait.
Yeah.
One last point. And this will be the point of all points. This will probably end the whole goddamn thing.
All right, wrap it up.
Isn't this conversation proof of their privilege? We have to say. We have to say
that's what I'm getting at.
differing other things.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
I can't say that community's name because they may take the show down. Are they gonna take the show down if I start spouting out, man, these crackers and these honkies, man, let me tell you. If we could just kill Whitey, bro, they put Whitey on the moon, they didn't put us on
They put that one in every algorithm.
Right. So that'll be okay, right? But I also can talk about killing my own people, and that's okay. Can I start talking about shooting a couple of them? No, this will be done. Because that's the privilege that they have. That is a privilege that they have that none of us at this table have. None of us have that privilege. We cannot even say their names. We can't even say what group they are because there's a possibility this won't be aired. Nobody will hear your points. And you made some really good points.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
So nobody will be able to hear these points because of their privilege. It's the same way as if you start spouting out, unfortunately, I mean, unless you were rapping, you can rap it. You can do all that all day. But if you start spouting that out a couple of times, and they'll shut this down real quick too, which means that I have a privilege. If you start saying some misogynistic, I don't know, man, women need to be in the kitchen or something. I don't know. They might let that slide. That thing might.
Or women driving.
That might let slide. Yeah. You know, I don't know. But isn't that an example right there of just the privilege that they have over? Because I can talk about you all day as a white man. I can disrespect you. I can disrespect his religion. I can just talk about you. I can talk about you and your wife. I mean, I can say all kind of rude stuff about you, and it would be okay. One, because of this, and then because you're lower on the oppression hierarchy, or on the oppression toward pyramid or whatever it is.
I don't know what you're getting at.
Yeah, that's a thing. You should probably look it up, Google it.
No, I mean I know what you're talking about.
Right, you're at the bottom.
Okay. You know, I just realized something. I'll let you finish, and then I'm gonna let these two lovely ladies talk a little bit and kind of wind it up, just because we can get to the next one.
I definitely have something to say after.
Okay. Do you want to go? Well, are you gonna lose? Keep your thought?
It's responding.
Keep
Some of the what you said first about responding to, blacks and Latinos and all that. If I wasn't framing the argument.
You did.
No, because that's false framing.
No, you did.
And it's
you put them in the same homie. What you did is you
but
said.
What we're doing is what that does is that disenfranchises the millions and millions and millions and millions of people who are black and also gay.
No, it doesn't. It's not an intersectional argument. We are talking about what you said. I'm not talking about what you're trying to imply. Don't do that. What you said was the exact words that came out of your lips were. It's just like how the people were disenfranchised or they were oppressed the same way the that group, the same way as blacks and Hispanics. That is what you said. The comparison was to a group of people based on race. They were not oppressed because of their sexuality. No one said, are you black and heterosexual? No, it was because you are black.
Hold on.
Okay.
Oppression is oppression is oppression is oppression.
Oppression has
Period.
different reasons, and you
Oh,
know that.
but it's still
And it's for different it's for different reasons. You
but
know
it
that.
is still oppression,
It is
and
not.
that doesn't make it right. That
Well,
doesn't make it any more
the oppression,
valid.
Well, it's not about validity. Don't do that. Stop taking it to
Hey.
other places. It's not about validity. This is about you comparing a sexuality, which means this is something that people feel, right? You feel this. This ain't what you was born as.
Yes,
I
it
said
is.
that to
Yeah,
you.
it is.
Oh, so you born heterosexual.
100%.
And you born a pedophile.
No, what? No.
And now you trumped up. Now you confused. So you born incestuous.
Can I talk?
I asked you 2 questions. You ain't answering.
Well, yeah, because you haven't given me the
You got a
opportunity to
chance
do
right
that.
there. Now you saying this. You can just answer the questions right now. Why don't you just go ahead and answer? Can you be born a pedophile? Yes or no?
That's a great question, and I don't really research pedophilia.
I didn't
so,
ask you.
I mean,
I didn't ask you that. Answer my question. I'm gonna ask you one more time.
I'm not
Move
going
on
down
from
that road because that is an outlier, and that is not what we're talking about.
Homosexuality is an outlier. It is not the majority of the community.
Okay, so I am not talking
Homosexuality
about.
is an outlier. It is not the majority of the community. Correct?
Yeah,
Okay, so we're talking about an outlier.
I'm not
So
talking
let's
about a
go back
pedophile.
to this.
I'm not getting into that.
You don't want to get
I'm
into
not
that.
getting into
Okay,
that.
so you're born incestuous?
Again, I'm not getting
You don't
into
want to
that.
get into that. Are you born bestiality? You born with the inherent value? You want to have sex with animals? You're attracted to animals? You're born that way?
Are we done? Because I do
I
have
asked you a
points.
question. You can answer it. You're saying
I
other
can,
things.
and I will.
Go ahead.
If I have the space to do
Are
so.
you born a person who is
So,
part of bestiality?
Just answer
Again,
either defer to
that's
answer or to
disgusting.
answer.
Okay.
No, that's not
Not you're discriminating against the bestiality. You just called it disgusting.
my.
So what about their privilege?
See, I think I know where. So Lorenzo,
Let him go.
I think where Lorenzo's trying to get is there's a point he's trying to make, but
Hypocrisy.
I'll let you say what you want to say, and then we're gonna get to these ladies, and then we're gonna move on. Healthy discussions.
Yeah,
Healthy-
no, and I
healthy-
think
yeah.
I think it's good. I mean, I understand where you're going with that. I understand the path that you're going down because I ran the Republican Party, man. We were kings and queens of the slippery slope
I don't wanna
argument.
hear this, bro. I
Again,
asked you a question. I don't want to hear all this.
I'm not. But that is
you
not.
playing games with me.
No.
Stop filibustering. Answer my questions.
Those questions about bestiality
Mm-hmm.
and incest and all of that, that is not a dignified question that is genuine
Look
about
at you.
this
Look at you exhibiting
subject.
your white privilege, trying to tell
It's
me what my
not.
questions are dignified.
It's not.
How dare you say that to a black man?
Okay.
Look at that.
What
Hit you
we're
with some
doing
privilege.
here. Are we cool? Like
Lorenzo loves everybody, but he has. We do serious discussions.
I'm pointing out what your
I-
arguments are. What you're saying is nonsensical. Seriously, you just sat here.
no,
just said,
no. Because there is no one here that I have said you're fucking stupid because of that opinion.
Okay.
He
no-
said
no
that
one
gay
said-
people have mental disorders.
I don't agree with that.
You're right. I'm not going to tell him he's a fucking idiot for that.
Right.
I don't
I
think
don't
you are.
agree with him.
I think it's wrong.
Right. I don't agree with him.
But then what you're doing is we're having a respectful conversation, right?
Right. We are.
And in order to really come to any sort of agreement, like in no way, shape, or form, what do you think about pedophile? What do you think about people that fuck their? You're like, come on. That's
not what I asked you.
we talked about.
There was a line
we
of
talked
questioning.
about.
There
Yeah,
was
well,
a line of
yeah.
questioning.
We
And there was
talked
a lot of
about.
questioning.
Here's what
There
we're
was a
gonna do.
question.
Yeah.
Time out.
Let him-
I'm gonna let him finish. I'm gonna let him finish, and then I'm gonna let these ladies speak because I'm not against what you're talking about. It's just at a certain point it's gonna be midnight.
Yeah, no, I get it.
But I love this discussion. This is what this show is about, and that's why I'm letting it run. So go finish, and then we'll let the ladies talk and go from there.
Just like it is not okay for a white person to deny racism and deny any of the mistreatment to people of color, whether it's African American, Asian, whatever. It is not okay for a straight person to deny that homophobia doesn't exist. We talked about in the beginning of this that we are not going to talk about the outliers. I'm not even going to answer those questions, number one. Number two, some of the things that were talked about was, traumatic events and that is a trigger for people. And gay people have traumatic events happen to them. Yeah, you're right. Ask a black man in the 50s if he ever had any traumatic events happen to him. Ask someone who, during Stonewall, that time, if they ever had any traumatic things happen to them. And it's not the trauma that triggers who they are. It's who they are, and they experienced that. And so, like, you talked about, you can't see someone if they're gay. I can't tell, gaydar or whatever someone said. Like, but if we open up our eyes and realize, well, why does someone need to come out? Why does someone need to dance in the streets? Because, and this is a fundamental disagreement that we are going to have, and I respectfully disagree, that is who they are. I shared a room with my brother, and I knew him since I was a little kid. He was always different. He didn't touch kids. But I always knew that he was different. He was born that way. Before any trauma happened to him, before any of the things that he just now, at almost 40 years old, is able to talk about happened to him. And so we talk about, okay, well, why do they need to announce to the world that they're gay? Well, no shit. Because number one, if you say, I don't know if they're gay. Well, maybe that's how they tell their family and their friends. And that's how, after years and years and years of being uncomfortable with who they are and being treated differently, they can finally come out to the public and say, this is who I am. And man, I'm going to celebrate who I am. And that's cool. And I've been to Pride Alive in Green Bay, and it's awesome. And hell yeah, I would take my kids there. And I totally respect you for not. I take my kids there because my kid's here right now. Because I want him to see these things. I want him to experience them. I want him to be able to have a brain developed enough to make a life-changing decision. I don't think people are able to make those decisions at 12 years old, 13 years old. I totally agree with that. But I also think we shouldn't hide our kids from what's happening in society either. I think that's wrong too. And you can teach them what you believe. Hey, if you believe in the Bible it says it's wrong. Shit, okay, fine, whatever. I totally respect that. I disagree with it, but I respect it. And I'm going to use whatever platform I have to try to change people's opinions and change people's minds about it. Just like you can do that too. And that's fine. That's great. But my point isn't invalid, just like yours isn't. So that was just the whole fucking point of this thing, right? So
thank you for sharing, Lorenzo, and then we're gonna go to the ladies, and then we're gonna let you. We're gonna have to drop it because otherwise we're not gonna get to the next statement. And I want that one's a really good one.
I don't like to assume, but I guess because we have to end this, I'm gonna assume that you thought that when I was asking those questions, that I was going down the path of saying that this is where that lifestyle leads to, or something of that effect. No. Okay, good, great. Because that's not where I was going.
No,
I was naming.
No, I didn't think that.
Okay.
I didn't think that.
All right, well then, fuck that.
No, so, I knew where you were going.
Yeah. So, okay. I hear what you're saying. The one thing is this: the needing to announce to the world your personal, whatever you're doing in your love life, right? Your family, I get that. And that's understandable. And I made a point earlier about my experience with many of these people, with many of this group, right? I work for the Democratic Party in Chicago. So you already know what that was about, right? So did all the stuff to help this group. And what I have noticed is that the media spectacle testicle, because they got to always show their balls in the media. They got to show their balls. They are exhibiting a version of this group that is not what the majority of this group agrees with. They do not agree with that. With the whole teaching of the lifestyle. There's nothing wrong with children learning that exists. I knew at 8 years old that exists, right? I had an uncle. He was that. Whatever. I have aunts, cousins now who are that. Whatever. That's not it. It's about the school deciding how your kids will learn it. And that is something that shouldn't happen, right? The school should ask you, hey, are you okay with us and the way we choose to teach these children this? Because you may say, I'm okay with you all educating them on this, but not like this, right? And so what's happening in the education system, and not everywhere, like you and I agree, that ain't happening everywhere where they got the people coming in and dancing on, that's not everywhere. It's getting highlighted the most. And so when people, right, and when people see that, they think this is coming.
Yes.
Because they see the rainbow flags during June. They see all the businesses buying in. So they think this is coming. They get scared. And they have every right to be afraid. Parents have every right to be concerned about this if they are seeing this on Fox News. You should turn off Fox News, but you know, if that's what you're watching it, because it'll fuck your face. That's why it's called Fox News, not Fox. You've been saying it all wrong. So if you're watching Fox News and they're saying this to you, constantly shoving this down your throat, you are going to believe that. However,
same with CNN and
you're right, same thing.
Yep.
But when you see children at the parades, right? They are not at a parade that's like a 4th of July parade.
Polka Days on Pulaski.
Okay, Polka Days on Pulaski. There you go. The St. Patrick Day parade, right?
Yeah.
It's not gonna be like that. You're gonna see dominatrix stuff. You're gonna see a lot of things that are sexually themed. Yeah. Because the general theme behind this is about sexuality. All of this coming out and I'm being myself, that's cool. But it's about sexuality. I mean, let's be honest. You can't be this group and like the color red, right? Liking the color red doesn't make you a part of it. It's not like, okay, you exclusively like red. Well, got some bad news for you, guy. You know, that's not. You know, it's basically you have to enjoy, lust, love, like whatever the same particular sex as yourself. This is not something that should be on display. I'll ask you this. Do you think that there should be a heterosexual parade? Pride parade for heterosexual people?
I mean, I wouldn't have a problem with it. I think
okay.
I wouldn't have a problem with that.
Well, then that works for me. Now, wait. The most important question, though, is this before I move on.
Who the fuck would go to it?
Just wait a minute. That's fine, but I want to know this. Would you be open to a parade dedicated to women with large breasts?
I mean, look.
Only, hey, we got measurements. I'll tell you those later, but would you be okay with this? Would you be open to a parade for women with large breasts? Exclusively just for them, to celebrate them, honor them, mammary gland checks. We want to make sure that the girls are okay. Would you be okay with that?
I mean, if there's a bra maker that wants to have that parade, you fucking
wait.
Go right
Does
ahead.
it have to be a bra maker?
Or whoever? I mean,
He just wants to have
So
it.
do you want to? So would you be okay with this parade?
I'm fine with the parade.
This has been going on for
Would you help
months.
this parade get started?
I probably would not, but would you? I wouldn't stand in the way.
Would you attend this parade?
I probably wouldn't.
Well,
attend
you
that
wouldn't
parade.
attend my big breasted.
If it's you, then yeah, sure. Why not?
It's
No,
an
it's
honor of
Travis.
these women. We're honoring them.
I could join and identify as a lady.
Yeah, you go
No,
ahead.
you
yeah.
cannot. No, that's not how that works. So, and
I got
we're not
homegrown
allowed to go
taters
there.
from
We don't
Idaho.
care how big either. You can be big too. So it's also for if we fat acceptance too.
Sure. I mean, you go right ahead. Yeah.
You know what? All right, so before we go to ladies, I let this one ride out on purpose because I wanted you two to iron that out because we look for this in the show, but we don't always get that. And you got two people who have a lot to say, and you guys were respectful, but you disagreed at the end, but you're still respectful, and that's awesome. I appreciate that. This is also a discussion that is obviously not going to be solved in an hour. And obviously we have a lot of questions that were brought up that haven't been answered. I have a bunch. I actually had some comments, but I'm going to move on because I want these ladies to spill their beans. And Bonnie, whatever, spill their info.
So I'm gonna start with my now understanding of privilege. As I said at the beginning, I'm not very educational when it comes to the government or things that are going on in the world because, school. And so, yes, my life has been devoted to school for the last 10 years. I am going to be a doctor of chiropractic medicine, so that's going to be, huge for me. But at my school, Life University, we have bathrooms, male and female bathrooms. But a couple years ago, they got rid of the female bathrooms. And I said, well, why did we get rid of the female bathrooms? Why did those get to be gender neutral? Why do the female bathrooms have to be the gender neutral ones? Oh, is it because you have urinals in the male's bathroom and you don't want the, as you call them, transformers having to deal with the urinals? Like, where's the disconnect there? Why do the women's bathrooms have to be taken away and become gender neutral? Or why can't we just make a gender neutral bathroom instead of getting rid of the women's bathroom and now allowing transformers, other people, other genders that I'm maybe uncomfortable in the bathroom with me just because I'm not used to that situation? I have no problem with that gender. I don't have any problem with any of that type of stuff. Some of my best friends are of that community, but I still don't understand why my bathroom had to be changed. So that's my opinion on privilege. They took away my bathroom so that there could be privilege for somebody else to have the bathroom, even though that wasn't necessary in my opinion. My second thing that I just wanted to touch on was Travis said there's a problem in their head, and I don't believe that. I think there's a problem in their biological makeup. There's a problem in their hormones. There's a problem in the way that their body is perceiving things. It's not a problem in the patient's head. It's not a brain problem. It's a gut problem, probably. It's a hormonal problem. And they could have been born with it. And I think that if we could get some of that community into our area and start working on them and try to work on their hormones and different aspects of their life, we might be able to not necessarily change their opinion, but maybe get them into a position where they have proper hormones, they have proper cycles, they have everything's working properly. And I'd love to see if anything changed. I don't know. We don't have any statistics on that. We don't have anything like that. But I do think that the way we perceive love is very much based on our biological makeup, our hormones. And when we look at these things, we look at a woman that is got a lot of facial hair and stuff like that. She's got high testosterone. Do you think this woman wants to have sex with a man? Probably not, because she's got so much testosterone that she doesn't even feel good about anything. And so she starts to enjoy the other sex, like you get more from that position. I'm not 100% on that, but I do think that is something that could be worth exploring at some point in medicine.
I will say that she did a much better job of explaining the in the head part, because that was going to be my final thought, is to bring it back to health and the hormonal issues. So thank you for using your doctor skills and
very eloquently too.
Yeah, just for clarifying. Thank you, because I know what I was trying to say. I was enjoying these two guys talking. I really just lost. I didn't care what I had to say anymore. So, but Dana, final thought on this subject?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't have that many more final thoughts. Again, I loved watching you two, and this is what we've been trying to get and
craving
waiting for. What? You just knew I was going to say that?
No. In my head, I was thinking she sounded like Margaret Sanger. I mean, I'm just judging. Like in my mind, I was like, man, she sound like Margaret Sanger. but you could
I don't
be right.
know who that is.
Oh.
She was. We'll circle back to that.
I was like, maybe that's a later conversation.
Not today, guys. Not today.
Interesting lady.
Okay.
I'm scared now.
She just had a lot to do with something in the 1930s.
Oh, man.
It was the 30s?
Or maybe 20s or 30s.
I
where
guess
she
I
had a lot to
actually
do
don't know
with
the year,
a certain kind of hood that involves parenting
Yeah.
in this planned.
Yeah.
So, but so thank you. Is that all you have? You good?
No, I didn't even start.
Oh shoot! I'm sorry.
I didn't really have anything to
I was in my mind.
I am so,
She sounded like Margaret Sanger, like,
dude. I'm so entrenched in.
New
in what,
eugenics.
No, I just.
all right, Dana's got the floor. Dana's got the floor. Go.
Oh man! Oh, I love this. Skull and crossbones. No, I don't really have that much to add, and plus we got to move on to our next topic and stuff. I just appreciate you, Mark, coming to the table and voicing what you have to say, no matter what, and saying it with authority and conviction, even though you had people who didn't necessarily agree with you and stating what you wanted to say, because that is what we're trying to do, because we are trying to bring people together and talk about the things that are in culture that are important to other people. I do think this statement itself and this issue itself is a below the line issue when we're looking at the grand scheme of everything that needs to be fixed in our world. And I think there are above the line issues. Our next statement is an above the line issue, at least in my head, but it's good to bring us together and see what everybody actually thinks, and even people who live in the same area but have all these different backgrounds, and it's a good thing to be able to do, and we've been waiting for it. So
If we all take a look over here, it says I disagree. That's what this is about. So it's not about just coming here and having a shouting match. We want to take a picture at the end and just be thankful that we're all here. So you guys did a wonderful job of getting elevated with respect, and that's all. That's what this is about. So I think it's great. So I will save my thoughts. I'll just kind of wrap it up as my final thought at the end. But I want to talk about typical white man. Typical black man judging a white man.
Kanye, I'm gonna let you finish here. No.
All right. So you guys ready for the next one? I'll shake it out. All right. Ready? Public execution is the best way to solve America's crime problems. Public execution is the best way to solve America's crime problems. Agree or disagree? We will go Bonnie first.
I disagree.
Mark?
I disagree.
Lorenzo?
I disagree.
I agree.
Okay. All right. Bonnie, do you want to support your disagreements?
This one is a lot easier for me to disagree with. I don't know. It's a hard one because of I know that you guys are gonna bring up a ton of really interesting points when you because you agree on that. But I really think that public execution is so whenever I think of public execution, I legit just think about hangings and the
Guillotine.
Thank you. The guillotine coming down and chopping people's heads off. And I just think that if we want that, and I do, I'm totally down with injections, the shock, all that stuff. But I'm a very emotional, I'm a very triggered person, I guess, if that makes sense. So this whole thing is so hard for me because sure, I'm down for them not being alive and going away, but do we have to do it publicly?
We'll find out.
I understand the idea of
guess.
Somebody brought up the point of public executions, and if you're would you do it if you saw somebody get killed for doing whatever was but I probably wouldn't do it in the first place, so I'm sure I'm the exception to the rule here. But at the same time, I don't know. I just think that you're gonna have people that are gonna do it anyway.
Okay. Mark?
Oh, this is an onion. When I was on the Brown County Board, I got to do a lot with. I learned a lot. The only thing I really passed was a ban the box ordinance in Brown County. And I learned a lot about the prison system, especially in Wisconsin. The criminal justice system, the inequalities in the criminal justice system, and all of the issues that are there, and the gaps that we have, in sentencing guidelines to, we're expecting police officers to also know mental health counseling and the gap of mental health counseling in, versus rehab versus incarcerate. So, I mean, there's so much that we have to do, in my opinion, before we can ever focus on, killing our people. And maybe this is my leftovers from being the chairman of the Republican Party, but one of my dear friends is Reed Ribble, and he was our congressman for a long time, and he's, like, in my opinion, the gold standard of what a politician should be. And we talked about this a lot, and he's very pro-life, but he's pro all of life, and so he doesn't believe in capital punishment. And we talked about that on a number of occasions, and he kind of convinced me that it's really not that great of an idea. And so I learned a lot about that side of things from him. So, I mean, and you say public, I don't know what the fuck public execution would do, except, really tug at the heartstrings of people that it wouldn't impact. Like you said, it would really hurt you. My mom would be a basket case, and so, like, I mean, it would affect the people that it wouldn't be intended to affect.
Well, let me ask you this. What's the difference between turning your head from the TV and an African baby who was sick in Africa and died? Let's be honest. We both, you don't see both of them die. So what's the difference? And I'll just answer it. It's the emotion behind it. But also the same token, there's a flip coin to that too, is the out of sight, out of mind, right? So if you turn your head, it's the same as, watching somebody get executed. It's the same thing as happening over in Africa right now. Just that person earned it. That person just had no chance in life. So I think we got to turn our head to it. But that's just a side comment. That really isn't my outgoing statement. But go ahead. You have anything else you want to add?
No, that's
good. Good. It's not. I'm not. That's a good statement. Renzo?
I disagree because, first of all,
Yeah, here we go.
I worked on the Bandbox ordinance in Illinois.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yes.
Nice job, brother. There you go.
That's right.
That's awesome.
I had thought when he said it, I was like, oh,
Yeah.
shit,
Yeah.
Bandbox, bro. See?
Dude, people were so pissed off at me with that.
Yeah.
Like, it was like 3 months down the pike.
Yeah.
And I had a-holes on the county board. I hope they're watching right now. Sons of bitches that were like, I want to pull this forward. It's like, holy shit, it didn't
Yeah.
even get through committee yet, you idiot. And, oh, my God, the pushback on that.
Man, we got it passed
Oh
at the
my
state
God.
level,
Good
and
job.
now the Department of Labor doesn't even utilize it.
Hell, good job, man.
Because once Rounder got in, he
Nice.
said nothing from the last administration. We don't do anything.
Good for
so
you.
they stopped following the ordinance. They don't even.
That's
But
great.
it's on the books. It is on the books though. It is officially a Illinois
Good job, man.
labor law. Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah, that's nice.
That's
Good.
sweet.
All right. So I said, you don't know what it is.
It's
I
so
don't-
like
I don't-
on,
it's okay. I don't
on
know
a
what
on
that
a on an application for employment.
Yep.
Okay.
It was the box that you check if you've ever been convicted of a crime.
Yep.
Oh, and ban the box.
Ban
is
the box.
what-
So we got that removed
Oh,
from
Yep.
okay.
from employment
I gotcha.
applications.
It was barring too many people. Like some
Yeah.
people would have convictions, and it was like
Yes.
you sold like a nick bag of weed, right?
Yeah,
we
Yeah.
locked you
Yeah.
up.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's like, so
yeah,
now
yeah.
this guy can't work because he sold a nick bag, and now it's legal, right? So it's like, so what does
Right.
that conviction even mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
So
all right.
either way, that's the political stuff. Anyway, so let me take that off the list. So I disagreed because, man, they've been doing public executions. Motherfuckers keep still doing crime. They don't care. They don't care. They see, they like, oh, I seen him
Right.
get his head chopped off. I'm about to still go steal some shit. They go chop my head off. Yes, we are. We gonna chop your head off? you motherfuckers know in India, okay, I'm gonna rape this little girl. No, I'm not gonna do that. That's not what's gonna happen. That's not the words I said, YouTube. I'm sorry about that. I meant rope. So I'm going to rope someone.
Oh, is
Rope
that
them.
is that a word that we have
Yeah,
to
you
word?
gotta
Oh,
be careful.
okay.
So you gotta rope
Right.
someone. And so if you rope them, then then something's gonna happen to you where they do things to your man area. There are still people out there doing that to girls. They do not care. So I do not think that public executions are going to make a difference. They're not going to do. I take a look at this. When they lynched people in the South, that did not make people say, you know what? Let me stop doing the things that get people lynched. And then when they were lynching people and what happens a lot of times with public executions, as we've seen in the past, those things start to escalate to we're gonna publicly execute you for various small offenses, like how they had started in the South. If you did adultery, that's gonna get, if you were a woman and you did adultery, that was gonna get you lynched. And it's like, okay, so now because we have this and we're trying to keep so-called order, this is what we're gonna do. Plus, I think all of the electrocutions, it's a waste of money. This motherfucker gets the meal of a lifetime for the last time.
True.
And
I know my final meal.
Everybody's paying for this shit. This motherfucker could eat for days. He could say, I want the entire Bennigan's menu. They be like, Bennigan's is not around. I want the entire Bennigan's menu. Find a Bennigan's. Look at this. This is ridiculous. Tons of money going out so this person can have one last meal. You don't get a fucking meal. You shouldn't get anything. Let's just get rid of you. Shouldn't even tell him. In his sleep. Jeffrey Epstein. In his sleep or whatever. Have your guards go to sleep, Jeffrey Epstein. Then, I have a better idea, right? We don't need to do public executions. I've said this on the show before. You all probably forgot this idea. I will tell you again.
It's space.
The goddamn
Space.
right, it's space, okay?
All right.
What we need to do is NASA needs to take a full overhaul over the criminal justice system. And what NASA needs to say is we are no longer spending money on fuel. This will help with our environmental issues. So AOC, if you're listening, what's up, boo? So that's right. She's a Democrat. Mm-hmm. I like those eyes. So
She's pretty.
she's okay looking. I like her eyes. But anyway, so she can hear my environmental plan, because I don't care who picks me up. Just somebody pick me up. So once we get rid of that, right, we'll get rid of all those emissions in the air that come from the space program, because I'm assuming that that's a lot of emissions. I don't know. That's not my job. But my job is to come up with the space idea itself, right? So here it is. You take these felons. You want to gangbang. You want to kill children in Chicago. You didn't learn from the last 2 times when you got caught with your weaponry. That's fine. The judge says your name is no longer Lontavius Jackson. You are now 569834. What is that? That is now your satellite number. You are going to do some good for the community. Since you did not want to do good for the community, the punishment should be the opposite of what you wanted to do. You wanted to be a menace. You wanted to harm people. Now you will educate us. So we are going to shoot you to Pluto. And we're going to attach a camera to you. And as you explode into many pieces, there will be cameras all attached to those many pieces. And we will learn things about space. And thank you.
Got something here.
Thank you, Lontavius Jackson, for all of the crime that you've done. America, China, Russia, we all thank you.
And his name
He's
isn't
a
that
human
anymore.
testing
It is.
guy.
Man.
Have you heard him talk
You
about
didn't
that?
want to send them to
That's-
Mars?
might have been
to,
that
Yes,
you were
yeah,
saying.
send
yeah.
them wherever.
Yeah.
Send,
Yeah,
them,
so
send
they
their
can get
asses to
our-
Mercury, send them to the sun.
System
Yeah,
will
that's a
work
better
it.
system. And guess what? We're not paying for it.
And
It's
we're gonna-
all NASA. Let
and-
NASA foot the bill, baby.
But we got to send the pedophiles to
Still the
Uranus.
government.
Okay.
Oh, God. That was just heinous.
Oh,
Hey,
that was
hey.
beautiful. I loved that one.
You better be nice to me. I'm going to give you a number 5, 6, 4, 7, 8, and send you to Uranus.
You're not a
Send them in-
judge, and I've done nothing wrong.
Yeah, exactly.
All right,
Oh,
Dana.
man. Yeah, so I agree to the statement. I mean, I have a couple of things to say, but first I'll start out with saying that, okay, first of all, when it comes to crime, I think we need to be able to actually talk about crime itself in an open and honest way without being called racist. I think if a black person does commit a crime, we need to be able to say that a black person committed the crime without someone jumping and saying that you're racist or having any of that kind of stuff peddle through social media. And I don't think it's the white guy's fault that the black guy is committing crime, because those kind of crazy ideas float around the news and social media or wherever it is. It's not the white guy's fault that a black guy is committing a crime, unless you're talking about like maybe the white people in office who are trying to perpetuate racism as a specific way to try to just still divide people. I'm not really on board with that. But I think it's important that we talk, again, in an open and honest way about who is committing crimes and where they are being committed. I don't really care who it is, but I think there's some kind of issues going on with that in our culture. So that's like one thing. And then I also I'll touch on like the whole police thing, because I do think our police officers in general should be paid more money than what they are. I don't think asking them to live on like 60 grand a year is very reasonable for the job that they're doing. I think that paying them something more like 200 grand would be a lot better, and it would make that position a lot more lucrative, and it would make it a little bit more competitive. Yeah. And you would, making it competitive like that, you would get some of the best of the best. And crime is an important issue in our country, and having those best of the best police officers, and I'm not picking on them and saying they're doing a bad job. That's not where I'm going with this. I'm saying I think they do need to be paid more, and then we would really get that like cream of the crop with that, competition kind of piece. And I understand that you can't just go from 60 to 200, especially in like with the government and stuff like that. I understand that money needs to come from somewhere. So the solution for that in my brain is, well, if we take these elite tyrants who are embezzling money from our country and we put them in that guillotine and we chop their heads off, I think we'll have a whole lot of money to go around, and then we can fund them a whole lot more, and teachers for that matter, but that's for a whole other day. So that's my segue into the public execution piece of this, where I do think that violent crimes should have some violent punishments. If you're touching kids, immediate death. If you are trafficking drugs, and I mean like the real ones like fentanyl and heroin, immediate death. Not marijuana, not mushrooms, not stuff that's growing from the ground, not that. Nobody should have crimes for stuff like that. I'm talking about like the heroin and the fentanyl, death. If you rape and or kill, if you rope and or kill someone, death. Immediate death. There are cameras like everywhere. I mean, yeah, you got to prove it and all these things, but like, no, like these people need to be removed from the planet in a violent way that scares other people. Now, do I think that you would just have to do it one time and nobody would ever do it again? No, I don't really think that. I understand that there are some people who are still going to try to get away with it because they just can't help themselves. But I do think it would serve as a pretty strong deterrent, and I do think those people need to be removed from the planet, although I can get on board with NASA. I do like that, but I do think that chopping people's heads off, putting them in a wood chipper, gutting them in public, I'm not saying I'm going to it and I'm not the one doing it, but hey, you know what? Over in Saudi Arabia, they don't have stealing because they cut hands off if you steal. I'm just saying, violent crimes and violent punishments, treason and embezzling from our country count as those things too, by the way, even though they're not violent. But there are some people that need to be removed from this planet, and doing it very violently, I wouldn't be opposed to. Oh, but my government program piece of it would be when you go to be part of the audience or you watch it on TV, you have to pay for that because then the money goes to the victim or the victim's family. That's my public service piece of it. But I can get on board with NASA too. I can get.
You was a real scary movie for a
I can get on board with NASA though. I forgot that you had that when I was like thinking about this, and now I remember, and I do very much love and appreciate that idea.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
It is a great idea.
Before I think that was a good point. I love that. In fact, I want to add that. That's good.
What, the NASA thing?
No, the money, pay-per-view, and make the money go towards the family that got affected by it.
Because then everybody would at least donate to it. Maybe you wouldn't turn it on and watch it, actually, but you'd at least donate to it.
So when I say my part, I agree with it. Okay, but before I get into that, for those who know me best, I love people. I care about people, and you can ask Doc, my wife, some of my closest circle people. They'll tell you that I'll leave the 99 to go after the one. So I will do whatever I can to help someone. And with that being said, I'm telling you, I still believe that it is the right thing to do, because at the end of the day, we do have victims because of it. But here's the problem and why it won't work. Our system is screwed up, twisted, too far gone. It's too much corruption, in my humble opinion, to implement it. Because right now, you got too many corrupt people in the judicial system. You got too many people that are corrupt, and I don't know who they are. I can make my assumptions, but there's too many people with agendas right now, and I think the human life has been lowered from a standard or from a value standpoint. Therefore, it won't work anymore because we've let it go too far. I know there's some states that have the death penalty, whatever, but I think that you have too many bad people out there that are going to receive the information, the evidence, and they're going to still come to their own conclusion that benefits their agenda. And I'm not saying that's everybody, but I'm saying we can't do it anymore because we're just so corrupt. We don't know what's up anymore. And that's why I love this thing, because I feel like I'm upright when I'm here talking with y'all. Because there's truth being spoken here. But I don't think it'll work anymore, even though I agree with it. Because in the old days, I wrote down, this will set an example to prevent future ones. Now, the penalties for doing these things, like right now, I think in California, this is a minor thing, but you can steal up to $900 before you even get arrested. Dude, if I just stole $800 a day, I'd be rich, right? And I wouldn't have to, go to jail, prison, right? So my point is, if you set an example, people, I'm sorry, but if what can I say, the petty? Can I say that word? All right. If I'm a guy who likes kids, all right, I'm going to word this here.
Wood chipper.
Wood chipper.
That's just it.
If I'm
It's fertilizer that you can spread on the farm.
But you want that fertilizer.
Come on.
Well, hold on.
Those are probably GMOs, so it's probably not that good.
So,
but
hold on. So let me finish my point. I gotta finish my point. I gotta finish my point. All right.
Then,
So
then I have one more morbid thing to tell him.
fine.
All right.
But let me finish. All right. So if I'm a pedophile, okay, in this example, okay, watch the edit of this now. I'm a pedophile. Okay, whatever. You know what? And I see another pedophile, I don't get castrated and hung or get his head chopped off. I'm sorry. I'm rethinking this. And I'm telling you right now, a lot of people would think the same way. All right? And it doesn't have to be pedophile. It could be kiddie porn or whatever. Like whatever. If I see something that I have a problem with and I see someone else paying the price for it, holy crap, I'm changing the way I think. And I'm going, oh man, I don't want to die. You know what I mean? So I am a firm believer in that. It's just we can't do it anymore because of how corrupt the system is.
Correct. We do need to get rid of the Soros lawyers. My other thing.
I agree.
I don't think it's. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I told my other.
You should have just kept going.
I told Doc that I'm like, you know what one of your next investments needs to be? It needs to be a fleet of trucks, and you just pull wood chippers behind them, and you just go around and you find all those elite tyrant fucks, and you just do away with them.
On live television.
Yeah, I know.
Pay-per-view.
You put those in. You just spray those. You spray those over cornfields. Well, maybe not corn. You spray those over like organic fields. Nice little fertilizer. People are too soft. We need to do things in a way that scares the hell out of people. People are too soft.
But I don't think I don't think what's
And
gonna
that's why I
happen.
curled my hair and wore a dress today.
I don't think that it would really change how people think in terms of like, I'm not gonna do it anymore. They're just gonna think, I'm gonna do it better.
Right.
I'm gonna go somewhere else to do it.
Right.
I'm gonna I'm just not gonna get caught.
That's what they all say, right? Though.
But I think in the system that we have too, there was I pulled it up. So there was Columbia University. It was like 1 in 9 people have been exonerated from death row. Right?
Okay.
According to Columbia University, more than 90% of states that administer death sentences have error rates of 52% or higher. As DNA evidence comes out, as more like people are getting exonerated. Like so, the issue of why I don't think that this is okay is because there's so many problems with our criminal justice system.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things I learned when we were doing Ban the Box is how different things are between states.
Mm-hmm.
Wisconsin and Minnesota, they have the population, they're just about the same, right? And I love the man. He's a wonderful guy. I respect him greatly. Tommy Thompson.
Mm-hmm.
I know him very, very well. I campaigned with him. I went on. So he's a great, great person. When he was governor, he was trying to rehab the state's economy. And so what did he do? He built prisons. And he put them in communities that really needed it. Small communities like Red Granite. Put a brand new prison. Well, you build 21 new prisons. If you build it, they will come.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
And so now what we have is we have a population in prison in Wisconsin that is like 6 times that of Minnesota. It's like probably 3 or 4 times. But I mean, so we have 26 to 32,000 people in prison in Wisconsin. In Minnesota, there's like 6 to 8. Right? So like the system that we and to Tommy Thompson's credit, he said that is his, and he just recently started saying this because he's worked on victims' rights and he's worked on mental health and rehabilitation versus incarceration. He said that this is his biggest regret from his terms as governor, is in expanding that prison industrial complex that we have, because it is real. Because now we have people that are making a good and honest living working at the jail. And you're gonna, I mean, that is the community's lifeblood now. So we have so much to do and so much to work on, from mental health counseling, counseling versus incarceration, looking at what a drug crime is, and looking at who is disenfranchised and who is affected more by those crimes, who gets put away more, who gets put away for longer based on those things, and so like that there's you could do an entire fucking episode on just the inequalities in the criminal justice system and how messed up they are.
That's why we will never run out of content for this show.
Right. No, for sure. And so it's like, do I agree that the dude who went into a school in Texas, or, and what was that? Well, yeah, Sandy Hook, but there was that guy that was like unabated for like 77 minutes.
Oh, yeah.
Before the police decided to, hey, maybe we should go do something about it. Like, that guy, fuck that guy. Mm-hmm. Right? If beyond the shadow of a doubt, this dude did that. Yes. But because there is so much shit in our criminal justice system that we have to clean out before we can really take a good hard look at what we do. Because at the end of the day, like, criminals, when they see their buddy getting strung through a wood chipper, like I said before, that's not going to help them figure out how not to do it. That's going to help them figure out how to do it refined.
But let me ask you this: that still might save a lot of kids from a few incidents. I can't talk today. That's okay. That's most days. That might buy some time. It might, until he gets screwed up again, does something again. It is all of our rights to grab the dice that we have and roll them. That's and I know what you're trying to say.
To the detriment of 1 out of 9 people, though.
What's that?
I said to the detriment for 1 out of 9 people who get exonerated from death row. I don't know if those are good
I'm
enough.
coming at it from a purity standpoint, meaning that there's a flawless system in this. Like,
if you're saying if it's flawless,
I'm talking as a rule, because there is too many exceptions in this statement so I'm not disagreeing with you, but I'm just saying that regardless if that person's going to bop and weave like Barry Sanders on the field, right? Like, he's going to dodge and weave the cops, try to find the next kid, right? We can't stop him, but what we can do is put something in place to make examples, show them what happens. Everybody will see publicly. That person will know, look, that person did something that I'm tempted to do all the time. So that could be me. I have to still make that choice. Am I going to go and roll with it and run it and roll the dice? Or am I going to, I bet, look, this must be, if they're killing people for this, I must be doing something wrong. If anybody has a brain cell left in their head, they should know, maybe I better rethink what I'm doing, because I ain't going to have a life.
But that's the point of some of these people. Like, I'm obsessed with serial killers. I love serial killers.
It's a white girl thing.
Good night, everyone.
It is a white girl thing.
It is a white
Sarah!
girl thing. I agree with that.
Lifetime.
But so I've listened to dozens of serial killer podcasts where they go into the psychology. Mm-hmm. So listen, there have been probably at least 4 or 5 serial killers who have begged the police to catch them. And I'm not kidding. Like, begged the police to catch them.
People want to get caught.
They want to get caught. And that's the issue, is that it's in their brain. They really are having problems with their mental states. They're having psychological disorders. They have things that are going on. Obviously not all the time. This is like a specific scenario. But a lot of the times these people are committing these crimes solely because they have no other fathom of what they can do with themselves, because that's what's the voices are saying or their brain is telling them to do, but they know it's wrong. Almost all the time they know it's wrong, but they're still going to do it.
You know, I love this part because let's just say we stay as we are. There's no more public executions in this example. They're screwed in jail anyways. When they go to prison, and because they don't put up with, I mean, I had a lot of truck drivers when I was a driver manager that would tell me the stories. I mean, I know a guy actually who is the brother of the guy who beat the snot out of Jared from Subway. He was one of the guys that beat the crap out of him in prison. I don't know either, but I'll tell you what, you know, you look at the Dahmers, you look at all these guys, they're done in prison. They can't get away from it. So you might as well just go, or the wood chipper. That actually would be more entertaining. But, you know, I know that sounds heartless and whatnot, but you know what? I'm sick and tired of innocent people getting the shaft. And I don't mean that literal. I mean that they're just keep getting messed up by bad people, and we got to change it. But unfortunately, I don't want anybody above me in authority from a government standpoint to have that kind of power. Not in this system.
The power to like kill someone or what?
Or yeah, just be the final judge to say, you know, you're guilty, execution. That was the head falling off.
I thought it was you throwing them in the wood chipper.
No, that would be.
You don't want someone above you to have.
Yeah, in this system, yeah, I don't want someone above, you know, in our government. I don't want someone having that power because I just don't have the trust that I would have had maybe, you know, 20, 30 years ago.
And that's why you're on board with having it done, but you just don't think that it'll be done properly.
Correct. That's why I agree with the statement, but I just say it won't work.
Agree. I think there
because
needs
of the
to
corruption.
be cleanup in legal system also.
Once again, it's not going to make a difference. It's just not. People are going to do crime because the opportunity to do crime is there. I mean, sometimes it's not, you know, mental things. There's a bunch of
and then they'll get killed.
There's a bunch of rappers on trial right now. None of them are saying it's because of mental illness. They have literally said that the reason that they did this is because they didn't, like one guy just said yesterday, I didn't want to go to work. I didn't feel like working, and I was friends with him. So I figured, why not do this with him? Some of it is environmental, right? Some of it is that these people are in these environments. They don't see any other way out, right? So they do crime. Some of it is people are sociopaths. They are people who are sociopathic people. They have mental issues, I suppose. That would be those people. But it's not going to make a difference, right? And I'm going to go to I thought you were going to go. I'm surprised you didn't do this. Now I'm going to have to do it for you. Doc is going to be very proud of me. So what the problem is that all of these people, it's in their gut. They are eating all of these bad foods and ingesting all of these things that are making their biologics mess all out of control.
True.
Chromosomes going all haywire and crazy. No longer XY. Z's and A's. What the hell is going on here? That's what's happening inside of them.
Yeah.
So,
Yes, it is.
with that said, you're not gonna. It doesn't matter how many public executions you're doing, right? If your people are still eating like the bad foods, right? So they're still having these mental issues. So they're still having bad gut health. Then that means that the crime is still gonna happen because they're not correct up here. So it doesn't matter how many public executions you do. Here's a prime example. Right, so in gang culture, a lot of these people watch people get killed every day. Is that not public execution for doing things supposedly wrong? Yet people still volunteer to be in gangs. They're not paying people to be. They're not saying, "Hey, join the gang, $100,000 a year. Well, you gang bang on this corner, and we'll pay."
Do we get benefits?
Hell yeah, 401k, Blue Cross and Blue Shield, PPO. I hope you're okay with that. That's all we got here at this gang. That's all. You can join that gang. They got HMO.
I need dental though. If I'm going to be in fights and whatnot, I got.
You might want to join that gang over there. I was a part of that gang.
I want vision insurance.
Got all my teeth
You're
fixed.
right.
I want
Their
vision
teeth are
insurance for when
pearly
I need
white.
my teardrop.
Look at Mark's teeth over there. They're beautiful.
tattoos.
Let's go.
Tattoos.
But
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying though. So it's not gonna stop that. It's not gonna stop. And then in some situations, right? It's because criminality is not just one. Like there's not even a majority. Like I wouldn't even say that there's the majority of people do crime because of this reason. I really think it's small pockets of reasons why people do crimes, because there's so many, because of the different crimes and the reasons why people are doing these crimes, right? I mean, the young woman who's messing around with a young boy in her class, we could say she's got mental illness. She may just be a pervert, right? And we don't want to say that because it's a woman and it's the media. We'll say it about a man, we won't say it about this woman. The guy who goes out in the street and he shoots up a building and he kills all these people and it happens to be all Asians, we could say he's racist, but he easily could just be a person who is a full-blown idiot. And anybody who was in there that day was going to die. Just happened to be a bunch of Asians today. Now we can make up these reasons, but it's still not. And if we kill him, if we killed him in public, right? If we killed Saddam Hussein, right, in public, we got Gaddafi's ass in public. That still didn't stop bad dictators from coming up. They ain't say, oh, shit, you see what America did to Gaddafi? I'm cooling out. I'm not going to do no more of that bullshit. No, you got problems right now over in the Middle East. So you're going to have crime, and it's not going to stop because you did the public execution. The public execution is not going to stop it. Philippines, for example, President Duarte did a fabulous job of cleaning up crime by killing off the majority of the drug dealers. But he also paid some of their asses off too, which means that now he's in bed with them, so you're not really, you know. So killing them off wasn't going to stop the drug problem. It was not going to end the drug problem because you can't kill them all off. What do you do about the kids? What do you do about people coming in? What are you going to do then, right? So you can't kill them all off. And then what about your population? How will you pay these taxes and these bills? How will you borrow goods from other nations and pay them back? So he couldn't do it. Oh, so that's a prime example. You cannot kill away the problem. I mean, we could send their asses to the moon.
Pluto.
That will actually.
That will solve the problem.
Then if we invest in prisons, we want people to do more crime. The opposite.
My friend
Yes, that
Patrick,
would
who
be
came
so
on the
great.
show a couple times, he says if you guys have dental, he's in. So if he has to go over there,
Dental insurance? Yeah. That's
yeah. So all right,
Look 'em up.
we're establishing lines here, gang lines here by
Gang lines.
But I
based on
think
insurance.
It's fascinating how, just kind of like the previous discussion, we can have agreement on things. We all agree that it's not going to solve the problem. It's because you got all these judges that are bought and paid for, by Dominion voting systems or whatever. But whatever it is, it was a bad Big Mac and their gut health is all messed up. Other people, but not to mistake your arguments, but that's it, And so I think that if there's one takeaway from all this, and I know there are people watching because I see comments and everything like that, I think in anything that I've done in politics, and I think you probably had the same, is as long as you enter a discussion with someone with respect and appreciation for the willingness to sit down, you can get a lot of shit done. And so when it comes to, to circle back with this issue, this is such a big onion of you did a really eloquent job as to, crime has so many things. I know someone that had a great job in a cheese factory and got hooked up with the wrong girl, and it just snowballed and snowballed and snowballed, and he was part of a huge bust. He's a really good person. He's a really good person. And he had a gun. And so now it's a federal issue.
Right.
So where was he again when he had the gun?
He was in Wisconsin.
Okay.
And the damnedest thing is, and this is also really fucked up, the guys at the top, they only got 4 years in prison because they can give all the information about everybody else.
Yep.
And then it leaves this guy, and he's sitting for 10 years, and it's a federal crime, and truth in sentencing, you are fucked, bud.
But here's the thing, though. Why is he running with a crowd like that, though? You know what I mean?
But that no. But
he
but
said he was dating a
yeah,
lady that
yeah.
dates. I mean, he didn't go into details.
And there's but so much of that is because of that. You talk about circumstances. Right. It's not necessarily. I mean, yeah, that's awesome. It's so easy for us to judge, and to sit on a thing and say, well, why are you doing that? Well, fuck, you don't know. I don't know why he was doing that, but I know who he is. And I know that if he had an opportunity that worked on a little bit of mental health care, a little bit of time served, because at the end of the day, you passed drugs. You shouldn't do that. And it wasn't pot.
Like that.
But
it was Advil, wasn't it? That'll get you.
that shit, the street
It's Boswellia.
purified
Sudafed.
Yeah.
Sudafed.
Did you
right?
hear what I said?
But
I said it was Boswellia.
Oh, snap.
but there's so much of that. There's so much of that, and I learned a lot of that when we talked about Ban the Box. I'm sure you did too.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and that's just a part of this.
Yeah.
Try to get some mental health care. You're gonna wait 3 fucking months.
Yeah. I mean, so forget learn that. Look, dude, I'll tell you this. Doing music, there were times where I would meet guys who were like, yeah, I'm selling this, I'm selling that, I'm doing this. And I go talk to another guy who, like, a buddy of mine. And then I'll tell him, yeah, I met this cat. And they'll be like, oh, I went to Catholic school with him.
Yeah.
What, you went to Catholic school with that dude over there? He just said, he just showed me his 380. I mean, he deep in the streets. He ain't deep in the streets. Man,
Well,
on
yeah.
Sunday he had church with his grandma. And so I'm sitting here thinking, okay, so he's a fake gangster. But come to find out, this guy was doing all this stuff because hip hop says you gotta have street cred. Now he's from the suburbs, granted. Come on. This guy is not a gangster. Like,
Yeah.
this is literally the stupidest reason to be involved in crime.
Lorenzo, the reason why he's not a gangster isn't what you're saying. It's because he's got to carry at least a 9mm, a 380. What is he trying to shoot, a bunny?
But what I'm getting at is that guy. So let's say that let's say he accidentally or he shot a child, right? And underneath the laws, right, you shot a child, you gotta die. I mean, this guy, not that he shot the child like boom, point blank range, I'm killing this baby, murder. He shot this child accident. He ain't never shot a gun. He literally Tupac'd himself, pulled the gun out, shot the baby. Oh my God. This man shouldn't get a public death sentence because he made a very, very, very poor choice.
So-
he should go to jail.
So there should be levels of the murder is found as an accidental murder is what you're saying is he shouldn't be put in. Yeah, so so I think that's a good point, but we should clarify. We're talking about the ones that are guilty of doing something stupid. Like, that's a good point because you're right.
Like purposeful.
What is the
Like,
boundary?
you don't
what is the
accidentally
cutoff
rape
for
somebody.
this alleged,
but couldn't we justify he's purposeful in his actions? I mean, okay, I just said that this guy is not. He's an accident. But you knew the consequences of you having the gun that day. You knew that the possibility was there that you might shoot anyone. It could have been any person, not this baby. It could have been an old woman. Could have been Dana Dillon from the I Disagree podcast. You could have shot anybody that day, right? So you knew the consequences. So you are purposeful, right? This is not even your lifestyle. You know better. See, at least with the gangbanger, right? We could say, okay, he's from this environment, right? The person who has mental illness, well, they not quite right in the head. You know better. Your parents are Claire and Heathcliff Huxtable. Theo, you shot somebody.
Justine. Sorry,
Yeah,
whenever I hear Theo,
there
I
you
think
go.
of Justine.
Shot him over Justine. She was bad though. I did like her. So he shot her over. So now, this man should go to jail. He should get this public execution for this. Should he get rehabilitated or?
I think if it's accidental, I think that he wouldn't be on the chopping blocks.
Okay.
So that's a good question because we didn't specify in
That's fine.
the statement does not clarify. So I'll tell you what.
It's a general statement.
Let's do
Yeah,
final
that's something
thoughts.
you probably
You know?
came up with this. 'Cause
No.
that's
No,
something
I
that
did.
you like to do.
You
That's
know
something
I
like to
got
do.
that one.
Yeah, general statements.
Oh yeah. So final
Hey,
thoughts
we
time.
always take suggestions.
You know what? And let me stop messing with you because you've just shown me a different side of you today, and I don't want to get. I don't want
You
to
just
touch any
careful.
of that because that's a little bit.
just
I'm
careful.
concerned.
concerned about my
I'm
well-being.
concerned.
I am. I'm very concerned.
So-
I'm gonna get his number after the show so that I can make sure I keep in touch with him in case anything happens to me. You know exactly who did it.
When you guys meet, I want to be there. That was fun.
You
Bonnie,
call the police.
you get the first. You get the first final thoughts. Just recap your experience for the last couple of hours. Tell
Oh,
us
this
what.
is
After
fun.
we give the police raises. Then they'll come to your door.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I came into this unsure of what this was going to be like because I can be completely honest. I haven't actually looked at the podcast really too much because, I've been trying to get through the student university, and trying to get on social media and stuff like that. So I really enjoyed this. This has been interesting. It was funny. I laughed a lot after crying a lot today. So, that was a great time. And just listening to different people's opinions was great because I like that, and I don't get that at home. I get my mom's opinion, and my mom's opinion is the only opinion that matters.
She watching?
No, I wish she was.
Okay.
I have told her dozens of times to watch this and to watch ADP, and she lives in the middle of nowhere, so her Wi-Fi sucks.
Oh, okay.
I did tell my significant other to watch. We'll see if he watched. And I just want to put one final thought into the
Guillotine.
No, not the guillotine, but the capital punishment type thing. And I'm from the Supermax. If anybody knows what the Supermax is, I literally live in the town where the Supermax is, and I think that
Is that a grocery store?
23-1.
Yeah. You should go. You should go.
I think
So what's your
23-1 is a pretty terrible punishment. I would not want to be in a small confined room for 23 hours a day and have a small tiny room with open on top for 1 hour a day. And the potential to maybe watch TV, but the people in the Supermax do not get to watch TV.
Oh, that thing. Okay.
Yes. The Supermax is where the Boston Bomber is. It's where Woody Harrelson's father used to be. It's nobody's ever escaped. There's never been an escape from that prison.
Cool. I never even heard of that. I'll have to look at Supermax.
The
I didn't know
Supermax.
it was called that. I didn't know it was called
Yeah.
that.
Colorado.
It's the Florence Supermax.
I thought it was
I
for when
believe Larry
when
Hoover's
periods
there
are
now.
very
Yeah.
heavy.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
What'd you say?
The gang leader Larry Hoover's there now
Yep.
because they couldn't house him in Illinois anymore because he was
Supermax sounds
he
more like
wasn't learning his lesson. The public execution wouldn't have made a difference with Larry Hoover.
Yeah,
Right.
I think it would because he'd be dead and he'd be fertilized on someone's garden.
Oh my God.
Thank you for clarifying Supermax. I was just trying to say is it sounded like a feminine
Send them to
product or
space.
something. I don't know. What is
no,
a Supermax?
And I was glad that there were two people that knew what the Supermax was because I'm from Colorado, so that's a hard. If you don't know federal prisons,
Well, I think your
Yeah.
Supermax awesome.
No, I've heard. I didn't know it was called that. I've heard people talk about that though. But okay.
Mark, Bonnie, thank you, bud. Thank you.
Yeah, no, I mean this was really interesting. And I've done these panels, a lot. I've watched the last episode. I know you were gonna be a Spitfire. So yeah. So I mean, but it was you and your friggin' pedophile ass man. Jesus. But I think these discussions are good. I think it's healthy. I think there should be more of them. And I mean, I think, especially as we get into election season, there's going to be a lot of topics that really need to be aired out and need to be aired out in a respectful manner because there's some big issues. And when you guys want to do one on how the election system works, you let me know because I'd love to be on that because there's some truths, But no, I mean it was good. I think y'all are cool, and we might not agree on everything, but it's always fun to have discussions with people that don't always see it your way because that's how your opinions and your belief system can be refined or changed, and that's always a healthy thing.
We would love to have you again. I mean, honestly, she just wrote that down. I mean, we can.
Hey, election night's a Tuesday night, guys. So
There you go. Yeah.
We could have a live ticker with Doc.
Oh yeah. That's
6
always
hours.
a good time.
Sleeping at 2 a.m. and watching it all get flipped again. Anyways, thank you for being on here. Thank you both. Awesome. Lorenzo, final thoughts. I know you have many, and I love them all.
I don't.
I think he got them.
He got it all.
I think he got it out.
I didn't get it all out because
okay.
we are on the precipice of Black History Month. So I don't have it all out. I've got
But you
tons
will.
more. Anyway,
You
I think that the discussion from earlier. I'm not done with your ass. I'm not done with you.
Oh no, that's great.
I'm not done with you. I just want you to know I'm not done. I haven't forgotten the conversation. Okay? I am petty, Pete, like a bitch. I'm petty. So, but no, I think the conversation is always good on here. We typically get, people who we all just agree, and then I have to try to figure out a way to not agree, which is kind of hard sometimes because if I don't really believe it, then I have to like come up with shit. And sometimes I'm good at it.
Sometimes you're good at it.
Sometimes I'm really good at it.
Yeah.
But I think this was good today, and I think that we should have more of this. I think that you should tell more of the llamas. Llamas?
You're watching, yeah.
Oh,
Green Bay
Yeah.
Llamas, yeah.
Hey, you should tell more of the llamas.
Yeah, tell your
people.
friends.
You should tell more
Tell
of
your
the
friends
llamas. Well, like I said at the beginning of the show, man, word up. You need to hashtag support the homie. Like literally,
Yeah,
put
I shared
homie.
it. I put it in the group. They're
No,
watching.
support you. You're the homie. They need to support you. If they're not supporting you, protest their ass. I got markers in the car and poster board. We will go to their homes and
Nice. There we go. There we go.
So,
Duct tape.
but no, this was good. I'm glad
Yeah,
you
thank
came
you, man.
on.
There you
I
go.
hope that we can have more conversations. And I'm not done with your ass. I'm
that's
not
great.
done. I'm not
Same.
done with you. Okay, good. He's not done with me either, so you heard it. I'm not
No,
picking on him.
in 2024, it's samesies, not same. Samesies.
I'm not there yet. Yeah.
Okay.
I'm not, I don't know. That
I'm
sounds a
not there
little
yet,
bit too,
Privileged?
yes.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
Dana,
I'm,
you're
I'm
up.
just making a note that when we have Mark back, that Lorenzo needs to be here too. Just making a small little note there because I wouldn't want you to come back and then just like have boring
Oh, man.
periods.
Well, these got to talk to well, I don't know. I don't want you to come back and say the wrong thing. You heard what this one said. So.
I'm fun. What are you talking about?
See,
Whichever.
we caught a side of
That's
you that made us a little bit different.
That's why I wore a dress and I curled my hair and made sure I had lip gloss on.
What is
just
this?
To,
What is
just to
going
be
on?
like, oh, that cute little girl. We don't have to worry about her.
Destroy them. All right, Dan, the floor is yours.
No, this was great tonight, and the issues that we talked about or the statements that we had tonight, they're very important ones that are in culture, and they are, like you said, it's an election year, and these are all going to be things that are going to be talked about by both parties, agreeing and disagreeing, mostly disagreeing about what they have to do. And I've said this a number of times, when it comes to like the whole Republican Democrat thing, because we're going to see a lot of that this year on issues like this. What I do want people to remember at the end of the day is that they want us to think that there are two teams and that those two teams are Republican and Democrat, and that's not true. There are two teams, and it's we the people versus them the tyrants, and we the people are the ones who need to be the ones who end up winning this. So that's it. That's
End up
that.
winning what? What are we trying to win?
We're getting our culture back.
Oh.
We're not gonna.
But isn't
we're
the
gonna
culture
put
the culture
those
of the
people-
tyrants?
Yeah, that's why we need to put them in the wood chipper.
But I'm saying, isn't our culture the culture of the tyrants?
Is it?
So do you want to win a tyrant culture back?
I don't-
You need to think about that.
Okay, those will be my final thoughts next time.
I
then.
disagree. No, I'm just kidding.
I'll end my final thought here, and I wrote down a couple of things that just sparked my mind. The first one kind of goes into the first statement. It's simply this: it's trauma doesn't define you. It's the lack of addressing it that causes bad outcomes. So I think we need to be okay as a nation, individually, each person, needing to dig in their hearts, because I know we talked about the alphabet group right now, but it doesn't matter if it's other issues in your life. You have to address the fact that there's probably a problem. And until you do that, you're not going to get to the bottom, and we're just going to keep justifying it, right? Or justifying it with this or with more privileges or this or that to protect you versus actually trying to help you. Let me be clear. The government's not trying to help you. They are using you as a weapon for their purpose, and that is my personal opinion. And if you disagree with that, that's fine. But I'll tell you right now, I've seen evidence over the years to believe that, and we have to be very careful. And if you don't believe it, or if you find a little bit of emotion when I say that, you better dig, because I'm telling you right now, you're going to find out who the government really is here in the next year or so. Well, you did already in 2020, but I digress. Another thing I put in here was lawlessness in a lawful world corrupts everything. And that's what we have. And that's why I don't believe that the wood chipper, although it would be very significant and beneficial for society, will no longer work, because you will have innocent people, dying, and you will have bad situations that you can't reverse. So in that case, two wrongs will not make a right. Fair to say? So we have a corrupt system, and I always come from a faith standpoint, and I don't expect everyone to believe what I believe, but I believe in Jesus Christ and what he stands for and what he did on that cross and what he did on that third day. And I believe in the forgiveness of sins. And then we got away from him. We pulled him out of everything. And we shouldn't be shocked. I'm not asking you to be Christian, but what you can agree is that deep down, if we can talk about this later, is that there's something good about Christ and what he stood for. Because I'm telling you right now, when we follow him, when we do things right, it's weird how society gets better. Now, you're always going to have a rotten egg. We can't get rid of the rotten egg, but we can do a set example for when they come to make them few and far in between. Instead of just accepting them, oh, he has a problem. I understand that. I have a problem. You just did this to my kid, or you just did this to my friend, or you just hurt my whatever. We have to put our foot down. Otherwise, it's just going to keep getting worse. Lawlessness sucks. So all that to be said, it was kind of refreshing not having to talk a lot tonight. You two did a wonderful job. And Bonnie and Dana, I'm sorry that you guys didn't get to talk much, but you guys found something. You guys got plugged into the same thing, and you guys were like Morpheus and Neo in the Matrix practicing. You were having a great time. It was awesome. It's what we need.
I got a secret to tell you.
Ooh.
We planned this.
Well, outstanding plan. That's funny. But no, I want to thank you guys for being here. Bonnie, thank you. It was a blessing to have you. I know Bonnie pretty well, and she is just a hoot, and she's going to be an amazing chiropractor. Mark, we want you on again, too. You're obviously welcome, too, but obviously you're not staying here, so you're going to do your thing. But thank you guys for being here. Lorenzo, thank you for being here and being a peppy little spit fart like you always are. I love it. And Dana, thank you for always being organized and just keeping this thing rolling. And I want to thank all you viewers.
Thank you, Dana. And I love you. You're my favorite person in the whole wide world. Please don't kill me.
we're gonna have to check Dana for weapons going forward.
Weirdly nice to me. That's kind of weird.
But again, all right. So the last thing I want to do, and then I'm gonna say goodbye, is Mark. I'm gonna ask you. Just say something to the Green Bay Llamas group. I want more people because this is what we're looking for. I don't want healthy discussions. I get that with my wife. We can solve the world's problems together. But I wanted some diversity, and that was Doc's vision when we did this, right? So what would you say to the Green Bay Llamas on your experience?
I would say that I support the homie. Oh, support the homie. Sorry. Hashtag support the homie. I think it was good. I think that this was a lion's den. I knew I was coming into. I've done this a lot, so I'm not necessarily afraid of talking to people that have different opinions, and I think that's always been that's always been my brand when I've been in politics, and it's because I was the chairman of the Brown County Republican Party, and I also, you can Google me what I've done. I toured the state with both Tommy Thompson and Russ Feingold, and I as long as things can remain respectful, it got a little dicey there for a second.
That was fun.
But I think more of these discussions need to happen. Because you don't want to create an echo chamber, because those suck. Because when you have an echo chamber, you have my aunt telling me at Christmas time that there is a difference between the President of the United States and the Commander-in-Chief. What the fuck is that? So we need to have these types of discussions, because that's how we educate ourselves as a society, and then and also grow and learn and respect people who have a different.
Would you respectfully agree? Like that, it's okay to come on. We're not going to bite your head off. We might have a.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely, yeah.
I'm trying to look. I'm trying to. Okay, that was healthy to me. That's great. I love that. And I want people to understand. I want to get rid of the echo chamber too, because I see a lot of that on that group, and at least in the chats I was part of. And all I said was, if you have anything you want to say, email us here, email us here. And I was just because I love that. Honestly, there's a lot of talks that we have here that are very simple. We all agree, right? You mentioned that. I want diversity. I want to hear that. I want arguments because there is problems. And if we're not going to talk sternly to each other about things that we're passionate about, then what's the purpose of having this show? So this was a wonderful example of what the show was supposed to be about. So thank you for being here again. I said that 10 times, but thank you again.
Yeah, no, it was good.
If you want to be on the show, IDP at thewellnessway.com. If you want a statement read, IDP at thewellnessway.com. If you want to find out if there's an Obama cell phone with the gang that Lorenzo's part of, please contact him directly. I got a comment in our YouTube. We have a YouTube comment. Our question asking, hey,
What you wrote?
we need to know this before we say goodbye. I need to know, is there going to be a free cell phone that is going to be provided by the Obama administration for your gang?
I don't know. I'm not in the gang. I don't know anything.
So you weren't. So this
Are
whole
you going to
conversation
give them out
is
at
for
your
nothing.
parade?
What?
Cell phones or candy?
What am I giving our cell phones for?
All right, you guys have a wonderful night. Take
What's
care.
that to
We'll
do with
see you
breasts?
next week.